Tyson Fury, Floyd Mayweather, Canelo Alvarez. Just hearing these names makes you think money and the hundreds of millions of dollars, pounds or Saudi riyals in boxing. But that's at the top. At the bottom, it isn't quite the same. Even for those on the rise, there's not an awful lot of cash in the boxing world. And if you're just starting out, well, it can be a very costly exercise indeed. But don't take my word for it. Here's the former European champion talkSPORT's Spencer Oliver.
You're turning professional and you're boxing, let's say, York Hall on a non-televised fight. You have to sell tickets to earn any money, but you have to cover the wages of your opponent as well. So if you don't have the ability to be able to sell enough tickets, you effectively have to pay to fight.
A far cry then from Jake Paul facing Mike Tyson in 2024, when the purse was reported to be around £48 million. But the vast amounts of cash lining the top dog's pockets isn't the norm in a typical fight.
Let's say you're lucky and you get between 5 and 10 grand. You're going to get 10 grand max for that. 10% goes to the trainer, 25% goes to the manager. Then we've got the tax man to pay as well. So we're cutting that money in at least half. So now you've got 5 grand for a 10-week camp. So you're talking about a guy here earning, he might be clearing 500 quid a week. How do you support a family on that? So boxers chase the dream. And, you know, there's probably 2% of them that actually make it.
So say you do make it and you start to rise up the ranks. Strikers Boxing, a training academy, says the mid-tier fighters can earn more, somewhere between £10,000 and £50,000 a fight, depending on record, profile, opponent and popularity of weight class. It's only at the top level does the real cash start flowing in, with the top-tier professionals, i.e. those going for titles, earning 6 figures a fight. Something else you'll have heard of is the terms prize fighter or journeyman. A prize fighter is, as it sounds, someone who picks up fights where they can and gets a nice big check if they win. Journeymen are the fighters who take on up-and-comers, effectively used for experience in the ring. Even if they're going up against the real prospects, a young Anthony Joshua, for example, these guys will be lucky to earn more than 10 grand. So the average boxer isn't as rich as you'd think.
Good morning, 4 minutes past 6, Monday, February the 2nd. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark's Real Sale. It's the UK's biggest used car sale, and it is on now. Check out arnoldclark.com. I'm Jeff Stelling, and with a bit of luck, joining us live from Glasgow is Ally McCoist. Morning, Coisty.
How are you this morning, Jeff? You good form?
I'm okay, thanks, mate. Yeah, you?
Brilliant. Good weekend, mate. Looking forward to another week. We're off and running, yeah.
Busy
Good.
weekend, wasn't it? Football-wise.
Oh, I loved it, mate. Good weekend, all action-packed. I watched the Scottish games yesterday, watched the English games yesterday, watched what did I watch? I watched a bit of the Arsenal. I saw a bit of the Arsenal at the weekend. They looked good. Watched Manchester City yesterday, Rangers. No, it was good. Good weekend, mate. And then I went to watch my boys play the wee weekend off myself in terms of work. And I went to watch the wee man play in the morning and the big fella play in the afternoon. So it was great.
How did they do?
Both beat. But it was great. You know, it's like you can't beat going to watch your kids' football. Jeff loved it. And then I was down at a junior game. It was great. Auckland, like we're playing Arthurlie. A great atmosphere, man. You know, just get back to junior football. Tight ground, tight pitch. Punters over there, pie and bother at half time. You know the drill. You know it better than them. It was great.
No, fantastic, mate. It's great going to watch your kids play football, isn't it? You know, watching them do all the hard yards,
Brilliant.
Like you don't have to.
Oh, that was great, mate.
But
What about yourself? Your own team, not a good result of the weekend, mate.
No, diabolical result of the weekend.
Yeah,
We brought 2 or 3 new players in, but that's an unacceptable performance. But, I was so much football. I mean, I started by watching Stoke Southampton on Saturday lunchtime and took it on from there. And you know what? I'm going to pitch an idea to all of the major TV channels, because we start early on a Saturday, and then we had 5:30 Saturday, and we had 8 o'clock Saturday, loads of games on Sunday. I think there's a market for a 7 a.m. Monday morning Premier League game. Catch the audience before they go to work. Set the week off perfectly. I mean, for goodness sake, there's a slot just sitting there, vacant. Give us some live Premier League action in that, boys.
It would certainly help us, wouldn't it?
It
You'd give
would.
us a bit of prep.
I'm sorry. When I looked at, I know I've said this before.
No, I know.
8 o'clock Saturday night.
I'm with you.
Not having it. Just not
I'm
having
with you,
it.
mate.
You
I'm
know?
with you.
And the Newcastle fans have got to trundle their way over to Merseyside. How the heck they got back, I have no idea. Carl, the Manchester United season ticket holder's already been on. Says, morning, Jeff and Ali. 2 things you can guarantee in life: taxes and Gabby not being on the breakfast show when Villa lose. Well, now, Carl, it's just taxes, because Gabby will be on at about 9:30 this morning.
I tell you what, he's had a busy weekend as well. I heard him, he was all over the place. He was at the Villa. I think he was doing a bit of the Spurs game yesterday as well. So, yeah, a very interesting conversation with Gabby this morning.
Absolutely.
That was a poor result they had as well.
Well, we've given him a bit of a sleep in, so about 9:30 for Gabby. But another... Well, it's an understatement, isn't it, to say it was a positive weekend for Arsenal. It was a brilliant weekend for them.
Yeah.
Here's how it sounded on talkSPORT.
Leeds 0, Arsenal 4. What an excellent day for Mikel Arteta's side.
Garner sweeping in the cross from the right-hand side. It comes from Brentford, saved by Verbruggen, and then turned in by Beto. Everton have surely salvaged a point at the Amex.
Chelsea 3, West Ham 2, and it's been coming. It's João Pedro's put it on a plate for Enzo Fernandez, the skipper, to get Chelsea right out of trouble here.
It's back-to-back wins for Liverpool, and they're under fire, manager, and maybe, just maybe, things are slotting into place.
We thought Villa were level. We thought Tammy Abraham had got his goal on his second debut, but he hasn't. It's Aston Villa 0. Brentford 1 of the game's gone.
Well, is this the moment that he arrives at Manchester United? Come from the right foot of Benjamin Sesko, and what a finish. Manchester United 3, Fulham 2.
Tottenham 2, Manchester City 2, and it's a really clever improvised finish from Solanke.
But I tell you what, you can't smile without talkSPORT and a day of football like that.
Well, Adrian made me smile there for sure. I hadn't heard his summing up of the disallowed Villa goal, but it was absolutely brilliant. But look, I mean, a lot of eyes obviously on the title race. It's a great weekend for Arsenal. Winning when everybody thought it would be difficult, really difficult at Leeds, and they won it in a canter. And of course, the other results went their way. And I'll tell you what, Coisty, I'm putting my hands up like everybody else now and said, it's done. Done and dusted to me.
You
Arsenal.
So?
Yeah, not just because Arsenal are so good, it's because the others are not that good.
They're not capable of sustaining a real challenge. Well, clearly I don't think Liverpool are. I have my feelings that Villa never would, although they've been having a great season. I wouldn't just yet rule City out, me personally.
Well, if you that second half yesterday, you would rule them out of anything. Anything, because they were terrible.
I take your point. I take your point. They were non-existent second half. Came out of traps and were excellent first half. But I mean, Arsenal. I've said for a while now, I fancy Arsenal to win the league. Even the games that Arsenal have lost, Jeff, I think it's taken a bit of quality to beat them.
Yeah.
I go back to that free kick, Liverpool free kick, Szoboszlai at Anfield. I look at the United goals last week. Okay, Zubamendi made a mistake for one of them. The other finishes were a bit of quality. So they just look the best team in it. And I think they have done for some considerable time. Their record in the qualifying stages for that Champions League, nothing short of magnificent. So there's nothing to alter my opinion at this moment in time that Arsenal, and I did say I think a couple of weeks ago, I fancy me to win more than one trophy.
Yeah, I mean, winning 4-0 at Leeds was just...
brilliant result.
Yeah, off the scale. It's off the scale because nobody else has gone there and won in a canter, and I doubt that anybody else will go there and win in a canter. Just a word on their North London rivals who did them a bit of a favour yesterday. Could that be a turning point for Spurs and for Thomas Frank, do you think, Coisty?
You know something, Jeff? Any other club in the top flight, you'd probably say, yes. However, Tottenham fans... That sums Tottenham up for me. That absolutely, yesterday, sums Tottenham up. It really does. First half, not the races, and then the second half, they put in a level of performance that even their fans must be scratching their heads saying, where has that come from? That's, and it's just a level of, they played really, really well, but I just thought their attitude to play completely stepped up to another level as well, Jeff. I mean... In answer to your question, the Tottenham fans, will it be another false dawn? I hope not, because they deserve a level of consistency that they haven't seen. In that second half, I thought they were excellent. The quality of the second goal, the equalising goal, was nothing short of ridiculous. I was delighted for him as well. And you look at the injury, there's still the injuries that they've got and the players they've got missing. You'd have to say, once they get those players back, and it looks as though they will start to get one or two back, Jeff, yes. I mean, if I'm a Tottenham fan, after watching that 45 minutes and coming off a couple of, I think, very good results and performances in Europe against Dortmund and who was it midweek? Was it Frankfurt? I think it was Frankfurt. Yes, you would certainly be a little bit scared, but I think you could allow yourself to be very optimistic. If not very optimistic, pretty optimistic.
Yeah. I mean, after the game, I heard... Rob Noffman on BBC Radio interviewing Pep Guardiola, and goodness me, it's the most thankless task in the world,
it's tough,
isn't it?
Really is,
to interview. But look, you have to ask, what's happened to City? What's happened to City? I mean, Rodri, I get it, a long way off his best, but he's coming back from a really serious injury.
Look, he's still on the pitch, Jeff.
Yeah, he was, and yet they come out and criticise the referee afterwards. Yet Rodri could have been sent off twice.
Yes. Yes, I think it was lucky to stay in the pitch.
But where's Haaland gone? Where's Phil Foden gone? I mean, I know they've got injury issues, but if you looked at their bench yesterday, they cannot use injuries as an excuse. They were, to quote Gabby, miles off it.
Yeah. Don't disagree. You'd have to say you'd be a little bit concerned, a big bit concerned if you're Pep watching that performance. And you're absolutely correct. When I'm looking at the bench, Reinders, Ake, Marmoush, Gonzalez, Foden. I mean, it's a top class bench. So yeah, and then you look at the injuries. The flip side of the coin, I think Tottenham had the best part of 12, 13, 14 players out.
Yeah.
So no, I was, and you know what it's like. I do have sympathy for the long-suffering Tottenham fans. I genuinely do. But that second half performance, that must give you confidence because they were excellent. I mean, their attitude, they looked as if there was only going to be one team going to win it, Jeff.
Yeah, absolutely. And if it wasn't for a couple of great saves from Donnarumma in the second half, Tottenham would have won it.
Yeah.
Billy says, let's not jump the gun. It's not over. Billy, in my mind, it is. Tommy says that's what Pep gets for resting players against relegation-threatened teams. And Jill says, morning, my two favourite Herberts. What a weekend. 3 points, 3 wins in a row. Sesko, 94th minute winner. Yeah. Defence in their right positions. Question for you, does Maguire get back in the England squad? Morning, Jill. I thought Harry Maguire had a tricky day yesterday against Fulham. And I thought Fulham can count themselves unfortunate, very unfortunate, not to have come away with something. But there's a vibrancy, isn't there, about Manchester United now that there certainly wasn't under Ruben Amorim. Yeah. Yeah,
it's a momentum they've got, a belief, the crowd, everything seems back, back running in order. I thought that there's some great goals in that game, by the way. The equalising second goal, Kevin from Fulham, tremendous finish. But fair play to the big fella. He takes it in the half turn, and then whips it round, and the place erupted. Yeah, there's certainly, you talk about clubs with momentum. At this moment in time, Manchester United, again, you'd be a little bit concerned that it's not. I mean, it's 3 great results and, certainly a couple of very good performances. Yeah. But they'll be a little bit concerned it's not a false dawn. They've got a long way to go, but certainly 3 great results.
Yeah, but they have got momentum, as you say. Downey has texted, he says, Jeff, if Arsenal have won the league being 6 points clear, does that mean Hearts have won the Scottish Premier League? Because we are 6 points clear. Maybe ask Ali. Downey, we shall do that a bit later on. Remember, it's transfer deadline day. You need to go nowhere else for all the breaking news. Listen on radio or watch on YouTube or your smart TV. Coming up, we'll give some people, including producer Ollie, a bit of musical education. And we'll also turn our attention to the back pages. It's all about refereeing decisions once again.
It will be an underwhelming Premier League title.
It won't be.
I think it will be.
For Arsenal. If they win the title for the first time in 22
won't care.
years, they will not
care.
No,
they won't care,
but
everyone else will.
Done. Well, yeah, last year he was giving Liverpool stick for the way they went about.
I've been proved right when you look at them this year.
They still won the league.
It wasn't a great Premier League
but
last year.
They still won the league.
Liverpool can't. That Liverpool team. That's what I said at the time. It was in March. We're at the Cheltenham Festival. I got a lot of stick from Liverpool fans, but I stand by it. You can't talk about the Liverpool team that won the league last year in the same breath as Manchester City's treble winners, United's treble winners, Jose's Chelsea, Arsenal's invincible.
But it was the first season in their development. It's like this season for Arsenal. This is the first season that they're going to put some silverware on the board. So you don't just automatically put them into a bracket with some of the greatest teams that have ever graced the Premier League. That happens over a longer period of time. It may well be that after that, they had to rejig. They surprised themselves by winning the title last year. They had to rejig. They had to rebuild for the future. It may be that they come again.
Whereas a different story with Arsenal. They've been building up to this moment. And I think that's why Gabby says, not to their fans, but maybe to the rest of us, if they are only going to score 69 goals, you've said maybe it is a little bit underwhelming. And I love Theo Walcott, but I can't believe he even asked the question on television, would this Arsenal team beat the United team of 2008? Absolutely no chance.
It is a little odd, though, having come close 2 seasons ago.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark's Real Sale. It's your last chance to save big on your next car. The sale ends on the 16th of February. I'm Jeff Stelling. Ally McCoist is with me. And Coisty, you know what?
Yes.
Producer Ollie came in today and he had never heard of the Hollies. Never heard of them.
That's very, very sad.
Misspent youth, or what?
Very sad. That is. He must. Well, he's obviously heard their music.
He hasn't.
Well, he must.
He hasn't. We're playing this. He's saying, "What's this? What's this?"
Oh man, that's a classic.
The Hollies, Ollie. They had 18 UK top 10 hits. They had more than 30 top 40 hits. They were responsible as well for "He Ain't Heavy, He's My Brother," which was part of one of the most moving Hillsborough tributes I've ever, the most moving I've ever seen when Everton played Liverpool at Goodison. It was brilliant. And then he went on to be part of Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. This is Graham Nash. The reason we're talking about this today, it's his 84th birthday. Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young with the wonderful Neil Young, the first supergroup. And Ollie's never heard of them.
They were. Indeed, they were.
Yeah.
Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. You better believe it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right, consider
Not
yourself
quite.
educated.
I'm just going to say, I don't think they'd quite just as many hits as Foreigner, but they were very, very good.
Yeah, they had about 27 more in this country than Foreigner did, I think. Anyway. Right, let's get into the morning papers, shall we?
Back page review on talkSPORT.
And Olivia Bazagla, she was singing along with The Air That I Breathe.
Quite right as well, Olivia. Good morning.
I'm not going to lie, I had no idea who sang it, but I was there singing.
Well, you do now, though.
Yeah, I do know. That's the main thing. That's the main thing.
We like to be educational on this programme, even at 6:22.
Right. Obviously, dominating all the back pages is the football. We will get into that. But amazing Alcaraz is on the back page of The Sun. And the history boy, Carlos Alcaraz, becomes the youngest man to complete career Grand Slam after beating Novak Djokovic in 4 sets. Incredible, just 22 years old. There is now only 8 men ahead of him for Grand Slam singles titles in the Open era, which is absolutely ridiculous. From Carlos Alcaraz, also on the back pages, Jude Bellingham. Went off yesterday after 10 minutes in Real's 2-1 win against Rayo Vallecano. Lions worry at Jude KO is the back page of The Sun. However, he has only been ruled out for a month.
Yeah, why would they be worried? You know, the World Cup starts in June.
Yeah.
If it started in March, we'd have a problem. No matter whether he misses the friendly.
Yeah, he misses a couple of friendlies. He will be back the start of March, so I don't actually think it's anything to worry about. It says Jude Real KO gives England huge World Cup scare. I'm not sure it does.
We'll probably do him some good, you know. He's got a break mid-season. Not a break that he wanted, obviously. But, you know, yeah, it's probably a grade 2 hamstring, isn't it? So what's that, 4, 5, 6 weeks?
Yeah.
Something like that, you know. And he'll be back fit and flying.
Yeah.
It's a blow, it's not a disaster.
Yeah. Absolutely. Let's get into the main stories dominating the back pages then. And this is Pep ref rage as City slip up. You've got the Mirror going with ref rage as well after Solanke stunner hit City's title hopes. And the back page of the Express as well. Guardiola's ref rage as City drop vital points. My favourite one, though, is the back page of the Star. That's gonna leave a mark after Dominic Solanke did or didn't foul Mark Guéhi in the first goal, so the goal to get Spurs back into the game. So we're going to go over a couple of refereeing decisions because that wasn't the only one in the Sunday's game. So there was one in Aston Villa Brentford, the ball going out of play. Yeah, that's a controversial one as well. And also in the Man United Fulham game, there was one on the penalty that Cunha got. Let's start with the Mark Guéhi one. Jeff? Foul or no foul? And did Solanke touch it? Because it's gone down as a Solanke goal.
Well, it doesn't matter whether he touched it or not. You know, to me, I don't want to see all this scrutiny. I don't want to see too much scrutiny. Pep's angry because he and his team got it so horribly wrong. He's angry with himself. He's angry with his team. He's angry because he knows the title is gone. Gary Neville summed it up just before half-time when City went 2-0 up. And he said it's good for City because they were in danger of being drawn into this charity match because that's what it looked like at the time. So it's disingenuous to blame the referee for the problems. And as we mentioned earlier on, Rodri's come out and supported his boss as he would do. He could have been sent off during the course of that game. So you know, I just don't want to see as much scrutiny. It's the same with the Villa-Brentford thing. I mean, Adrian Durham summed it up perfectly. He said, game's gone, you know? I mean, who knew whether it was... Who had the concrete evidence? Where was the camera that showed us the ball was over the line, you know? It struck me as a busy VAR wanted to get involved yet again to strike off a goal, you know? And that's not anti-Brentford, because they were fantastic on the day, but...
Okay, so Ali, do you think the Mark Gay goal, the Dominic Solanke first goal that has been given, did you think that was a foul? Because I actually did think it was a foul, because I'm not even sure Solanke gets a touch on the ball, and he just kicks through Mark Gay's ankle. And I think if it was the other way round and Mark Gay did that to Dominic Solanke, it'd be a Stonewall penalty.
I think it's a goal. I think he kicks the ball, and as he kicks the ball, he kicks the ball is just a split second after it, and it's a goal. I also think the Villa one's a goal.
Do you?
I do. So I just think, how far are we going to go back? I mean, moving on straight to the Villa one, we'll go back to the second one if you like. I mean, are we seriously saying that the official has made a clear and obvious error there? Is that what we're saying? For VAR to get involved? I mean, there's absolutely no way in this earth that is a clear and obvious error. I don't understand. I think Jeff's spot on. I think it's somebody really busy in a wee room watching VAR saying, oh, let's look. Because I'll tell you right now, I'll bet you in VAR, the room watching it, I'll bet you they never saw it at the start. Yeah. And they've had to watch it about 3 or 4 times.
And when they spotted it, Coisty, they'll have been punching the air.
Correct.
We've got him. We've got him. We can wipe that one off as well.
We've got a goal to disallow. Yeah, no, you're right. No.
And by the way, if we're looking, Olivia, if we're looking at things like the events in the penalty area, you know, with Solanke and Mark Gay, you know, then instead of that, why don't we look at what goes on at every set play instead? Because the grappling, the fighting, the scrapping at corners and free, it's ruining the game for me. It's ruining my pleasure of the game. Every set play, there are a dozen fouls in the box. Yeah. Let VAR look at them.
Yeah, I mean, there was an interesting one on Erling Haaland. That was before the ball was in play when he got wrestled to the floor. But yeah, I mean that happens a lot. So obviously you don't think that it was 19 seconds, by the way, back after Tammy Abraham put the ball in the back of the net. They went back to check that. But Chris Foy is going to be on breakfast this morning, so I think he will be here to give an opinion on.
I love it. Just a quick one. I'm guessing you thought the first Solanke goal should have been disallowed.
Yeah, I thought so. I'm not sure. This is the problem, is that I don't actually think Solanke gets the ball. This is why I got confused. So why is it? To me, it's either a Mark Gay own goal and you give the goal. Yeah. If you're saying, I just don't understand. I thought he boots through Gahey's foot and Gahey's foot touches the ball. So if you're going to do that, then it's got to go down as an own goal.
Yeah, I think he kicked. My reading of it was he kicked the ball and then Gahey kicked the ball immediately after it.
Yeah.
So I can understand him getting the goal. I can understand the defender and Pep being a little bit upset, but I'm not giving a free kick there. I'm sorry, I'm not giving a free kick.
You know what summed up the standard of some of our officiating at the weekend for me, Coisty, Olivia? Some of it, by the way, not all of it, was the fact that John Brooks, who's a few feet away, can give a penalty when Cuenca wins the ball so clearly from Cunha at Old Trafford. How, in what planet could he think that was a penalty? And that shocked me and worried me about the quality of officiating. I thought, if that's a reflection of somebody who is a Premier League referee, then we're in trouble.
And is that the one that it kind of gets himself out a little bit because they give a free kick for a tug outside the box?
Yeah.
And that was the phrase, got himself out of it a little bit.
Yeah, that was the decision that Marco Silva was absolutely raging at, because like we say, it's definitely a shirt pull, but if you don't give the free kick there, you've given the penalty, you can't give the penalty for a perfectly clean tackle. And then they got out, lucked out by giving the free kick, and then Man United then scored from the free kick. So Marco Silva
good header, by the way.
Yeah, it was a great header. But Marco Silva fuming, because that's not the first time that a couple have gone against Fulham this season. Another tight offside as well that looked pretty onside.
Yeah, brilliant. It was an eventful weekend in terms of officiating, that's for sure. Olivia, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Olivia.
Jordan from Middlesbrough, 5 wins in a row, joint top of the league. Coventry falling apart, up the Borough. They are flying. Hayden Hackney, what a goal that was. Coming up, we'll bring you the very latest on a potential arrival at Anfield on deadline day. Though he wouldn't be coming until the summer. And also the pressure building on Harry Brook as England one-day captain. More on that next.
The only problem I have with him, he done it again on the weekend against Arsenal. He played a pass to Mbeumo, and he was at fault for a poor pass. And he's thrown his arms up at Mbeumo, and Mbeumo's actually giving him some back of like, come on, as a player, you don't players throwing your arm.
Why is that wrong? That happens all the time.
I was going to say.
But as a player, having played it at the game, anybody throws your arms up at you, you always have, you don't like it. Ask any players playing now, you don't like it. That's what he let himself down at. Garnacho copied him.
Don't compare Garnacho to Bruno Fernandes.
I'm saying he copied him, I'm not comparing him. I'm saying he copied. It's not a good example when you're throwing your arms up at your teammates. What he does on the pitch, his performances,
but isn't
outstanding.
That because he's from a different culture, from a different sort of upbringing, and
it's
he's
a
got
Portuguese mentality,
demeanour. He has, you know, if you look at Jose Mourinho and the way he conducts himself, it's different to the way that Michael Carrick conducts himself because they're brought up in different cultures. And if you're going to have the World League, which
who else do you see do it?
Loads of players do it. Go watch Spanish football.
No, in the Premier League.
Yeah, but that's the point, Sam. I spend a lot of time in Portugal, as you know, and they are that sort of mentality. They are an expressive population. So I think that's why it stands
does
out.
it quite a lot, doesn't he? Gets the
but also just
up in the air.
Graham Souness is going back to a different world, really. I don't want to say prehistoric views, but they don't make captains now like they did in his day. I've got a list of Premier League captains here. I bet you can't tell me who the captain of Fulham and Manchester City is. You were looking at my screen.
I wasn't.
Tell me who the captain of Manchester City is officially.
Manchester City is Bernardo Silva.
Yeah, but is he? He's not an old school Roy Keane.
Another one is quite
John
demonstrative,
Terry
similar
captain.
sort of thing, which shows you that it might well be a Portuguese.
Who's the captain of Fulham?
Fulham is Kenny.
Yeah, but again,
another quick one.
You've been looking over my
screen.
screen.
I haven't looked at your screen.
But you get my point.
He's the club captain, isn't it?
Sport is often filled with people trying to make a quick buck, often at fans' expenses. But sometimes someone on the fringes comes up with an exhibition idea that goes down a storm. Let me tell you about a couple of them. Mallorca 2007. Rafa Nadal and Roger Federer compete in what was dubbed the Battle of the Surfaces, a unique idea that reportedly almost got cancelled at the last minute when worms got into the grass. An 11th hour turf delivery got the match on, and despite some dodgy bounces on the new green stuff, Rafa and Roger slugged out a 3-set epic. Tennis has a history of exhibitions too, with the Battle of the Sexes in 1973 captivating audiences worldwide as Billie Jean King took on the former world #1 men's player Bobby Riggs, who talked down the women's game. Billie Jean King won. In motorsport, there was Monzanapolis in the 50s when American Indy cars went up against European F1 cars. But perhaps the best exhibitions have been the charity ones. In 1998, legends like Mike Atherton, Sachin Tendulkar and Glenn McGrath turned out at Lord's for a one-dayer in memory of Princess Diana. And since 2006, we've had Soccer Aid, which has raised an incredible amount of money. And if you get to see the likes of Jose Mourinho taking out Oli Mers, then what's not to like?
Good morning to you. Matt the Wolves fan says teams need to stop complaining about VAR. Wolves stuck their neck out and they wanted to change it and get rid. 19 teams voted to keep it. No one had the bottle to vote against it. We'll get our wish next season, says Matt the Wolves fan. And Harvey, Fulham supporting taxi driver from Tadley, says, spot on Jeffrey, the Cuenca tackle. It should have been a corner. Then they disallowed Cuenca's goal for a dubious offside on Chukwueze, whose arm was offside, and you can't score with your arm. Big team bias on display again. Kevin's goal was a cracker, though. There was no way the refs or VAR could disallow that. And by the way, we mentioned the Borough fan earlier on, up the Borough. Never mind the Borough, says Ian. Hull City are coming for you both. Transfer embargo and all. You are absolutely right. Hull, relentless surprise package. No question of the championship this season. Let's move on to cricket now. England's preparations for the T20 World Cup continue to go well. It was live on talkSPORT too.
One needed from 3 balls. Sam Curran has smashed this up and over. Long on for 6. England seal the victory in some style. Leonardo dropping one short. Curran took it on, and that's the game. England win by 6 wickets on DLS. They take the series 2-0 with 1 to play. And truth be told, Hughes, they've just been too strong for Sri Lanka today and in that first T20.
Yeah, England wrapping up the series. Controversy, though, off the field, as Harry Brook admitted that teammates were indeed present with his confrontation with a bouncer in New Zealand in November. Brook, Jacob Bethel, Josh Tongue, they could all face punishment for the incident. Joining us now live from Sri Lanka, 2-time Ashes winner, former England fast bowler, Steve Harmison. Morning, Harmy.
Good morning, Harmy.
Morning, Ali. Morning, Jeff.
Harmy, let's start with the cricket, the on-field action, shall we? Tom Banton, the standout for England.
Yeah, he was excellent. He was. He showed in the first game that I think he got 29, and he showed in the first game his ability to score all around the ground. He reverse sweeps very well against the spin, hits it high. He's not conventional trying to hit it on the floor. And at number 4, having taken his chance when Ben Duckett got injured, he's proved his worth. And you know, the 50 in the second game was a match win, and seeing his team home, something I think that will show great qualities from England going forward. It'll be interesting to see if he stays in the side, though. I think Ben Duckett, a fit and firing, and the one that we had for the last sort of 18 months, I still think Ben Duckett warrants a place in the side. And I just wonder if it's now Ben Duckett or Jacob Bethel, who in 2025 is batted 16 times in T20 cricket, the highest score of 36. So Banton, for me, you ride this wave, keep him in. And as long as he's batting the way he's batting, I think he should stay in the side going towards the World Cup.
Harmy, another one we're talking about, controversy surrounding Harry Brook. He had a great knock yesterday. Was it 36 off 12 or 13 balls? But there's a little bit of controversy following him at the moment, isn't there?
Yeah, unfortunately. I think this second one, you know, Ali, I mean, it's not so much Brook. I think people are bringing Brook into it because, yes, he was involved. And the apology hasn't really helped that. the first apology. It was amazing, that the statement. There was an apology to make an apology from the apology, which was bizarre and madness. But this one is a little bit more on the ECB. I think when you sit and you say that we haven't got a drinking culture, you sit and you say nobody else was involved, and then the captain Harry Brook sits there and says, "Yes, I was the only one that went to the nightclub. I was the one that got clocked by the bouncer." To which then 2 or 3 weeks later, all of a sudden you weren't the only one. Then I think the whole regime's in a little bit of strife, not just Harry Brook. The other day, it was bizarre because you're sitting in the press box on Friday waiting for the first game, or around the first game starting, and all of a sudden those murmurings that the story was coming. Then the story broke, and then when we heard there was going to be a statement from Harry Brook, I honestly thought it was his resignation as captain, because I was like, well, hold on, how can you, if you're going to make a statement, you've apologised, the next step is probably to resign. So he is captain. There is a lot of noise around it. I don't think it's going away. I think once the World Cup's finished, I think that'll be a good time to reset and sit down and make some calculated, correct decisions by adults in the room, because we've got a bit of time before the English summer, international summer starts.
So by a reset, in that case, Harmy, do you mean that he should then resign or be removed from the captaincy?
I think that needs to be, I think the whole thing needs to be looked at, I think, with a calm head from, a place of honesty from inside and from outside. Because at this moment in time, you've got the ECB who are in England, you've got the management team who are probably in England, you've got the team who are in Sri Lanka going to India. It's a World Cup. And I think if you give them time once we get home, to get home middle of March, early March. We're not playing again until June. I don't want a whole reset. I really don't. I don't see there being a whole reset. I think, if I'm brutally honest, I think the coach comes under pressure. I would not get rid of the director of cricket, Rob Key, because I think there's a lot more on his plate with Lions and with under-19s and all the programs that he's put in place. I think he's done a really good job, and I'm not sure I would change that. I think the environment is set, the plans are made, and the conditions of where the England cricket team evolved from, that comes from the coach. And unfortunately, with the Ashes debacle, I don't really want to see Brendan McCullum go, because I think he's been positive for English cricket. But he, unfortunately, sets the tone. And like we've seen in football with Maresca and with Amaran, he's not for changing, is Brendan McCullum. And unfortunately, ECB might have to make a decision and do the change for him.
Harmy, just a quick one. Moving on to looking for the World Cup itself starting. A couple of things surrounding Pakistan. They seemingly dismantled the Aussies 3-0 in their T20 series. But I'm also reading somewhere that are they blatantly refusing to play India? Have I got that right?
You've got that spot on, Ali. They're not going to play India. And again, ramifications for the world game. That game there, between India and Pakistan, globally, from a financial point of view, TV, revenue, everything that comes with it, is unbelievable. It's probably bigger than from a proportion of the World Cup TV revenue, it's probably 95%. It's massive. So that game there is huge for the game. The ICC, whoever wrote the ICC's statement, to say that with a straight face it's just baffling for me. It really is. India, Pakistan, the Bangladesh situation. What happens if India and Pakistan meet each other in a semi-final or final? Are they gonna boycott that game as well? So I think there's still time for this one to run, but I think this has a bigger consequence for the smaller nations around the world, which people don't understand yet, because the TV share and the money that gets just distributed, it's huge. It's massive. We need in cricket India to play Pakistan, and unfortunately, politics again should not come into sport, but it has come into sport. Pakistani government said we're not having that game, and the ICC will be disappointed because the money that they'll lost because of broadcasting revenue rights.
Harmy, enjoy the rest of your time in Sri Lanka.
Enjoy,
fantastic
mate.
place.
Good to see you.
Cheers, boys.
Thanks, mate. Two-time Ashes winner Steve Harmison, the third T20 live and exclusive, of course, on talkSPORT 2. Now, if you like your cricket, listen up.
what a trip we've got. We are giving away a week for two at the 2027 New Year's test in Cape Town. Flights, hotels and spending money, Jeff, are all covered. The countdown is on. You've only got till Friday to enter, and here's how you can do it.
Yeah, for your chance to win, text the word WIN, W-I-N, to 83338. Text costs £2.50 plus your standard network rate, or you can call 0343 418 7260. Lines close this Friday at 4 p.m. That's when you need to answer the phone if it rings. 18 plus, UK residents only. This is a network promotion. Full T's and C's at talksport.com. So for your chance to win, text the word WIN to 83338 and do it now. Right, still to come on breakfast.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Download the new improved app to easily manage your accounts and quotes.
Deadline day. My, transfer news is so hot. It's not just rumours that I've got. Chairman, keep telling me if it's a loan signing or involves a fee. It feels so good when I really know who's coming in and who will go. And I'll tell you this much, on deadline day, it's me you can't touch.
God preserve us.
Deadline day.
The transfer window shuts at 7 tonight. There's a special programme hosted by Mr. Deadline Day himself, Jim White, from 6:30. But for breakfast, we'll keep you right across the future of
M&M
Strand
shaking
Larson.
his shoes, isn't he, Jeff?
Oh, my goodness. Have you ever heard anything quite like that? We'll talk about the future of Strand Larson and Mateta, every possible deal that could cross the line. Today, we'll give you the inside track on who your club is signing or who they are not signing, online on Smart TV, on our app, and, of course, live on air on talkSPORT. And that was our breakfast preview with Travis Perkins.
Deadline day. Deadline day.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Get free next day track delivery. Head to travisperkins.co.uk or download the app.
I've got to say, though, I mean, I am with Dino on this one, really, as opposed to yourself, Jay. But I think Thomas Frank should be given Tom. I think the trouble is, you see, it's too easy to sort of say, oh, we're not doing well, sack the manager, right? He's only been in the job 6 months. Let's be frank here, right? I'm going to spell it out for the other fans, right? They're listening to your glorious channel, right? We finished 17th in the league. He has not taken over a team that finished in the top 4. We qualified the Champions League because we won that trophy.
Yeah, we won the Europa League and we had a load of injuries and we sacked off the Premier League at the end of last season. So, yeah, I know we finished 17th and it wasn't good enough. I get that. But there needed to be a massive improvement. With the players that we've got, we shouldn't be where we are in the table. You can't... The performances, Chris, are not acceptable in the Premier League. That's your bread and butter. And look, we're a great side in the Champions League and we're a joy to watch. But that's got to go into the Premier League performances.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the thing is, look, we should have done better against Burnley. There's no question about that. But I do think as well, again, this is where with Dino in this one, right? The thing is, I don't think it's all Thomas Frank's fault, right? We need, right? And the thing is, look, you know, this is a hangover from the old boardroom that were there, right? We did not push the boat out enough for signings, right? I mean, we've got a lot of average players in that team, right? I mean, apart from Van der Ven, Porro, and maybe Kulusevski,
Romero.
They are bang average. Romero as well. They're bang average players, Jay.
Kulusevski ain't.
Kulusevski's, I think he's a great player.
Xavi Simons is starting to show some signs of being a top player.
Is Richarlison injured?
Richarlison's injured. Solanke's come back. Solanke, again, jury's out for me on him, but he's a good player. When we signed him, I was happy that we signed him.
Well, he's 60 million.
Transfer window. Breaking news on talkSPORT with Intuit QuickBooks. Tackle your self-assessment and business admin with ease all year round. Search QuickBooks to find out more.
Morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling and Ali McCoist. Of course, it is deadline day. Holmesy says Jim White is more MC Spanner than MC Hammer. Right, for the first time this morning, let's get a transfer update in partnership with Intuit QuickBooks with our deadline day reporter, Ben Jacobs. Morning, Ben.
Good morning,
Morning,
Ben.
guys.
So, Ben, a couple of things to update us on, I would think, straight away. Mateta is one of those, and Jeremy Jacquet. Any news on those two?
Yeah, Jeremy Jacquet is going to Liverpool. The medical is today, 55 million plus 5 million in add-ons, but it is a summer deal. Now, Chelsea were in talks as well. They've decided instead to bring back Mamadou Sarr from Strasbourg. For Liverpool, it means that they finally get a centre-back. And Jacquet is seen as one of the hottest prospects at the moment in world football. Liverpool were working quietly on this for about 3 weeks, and then they made a real push in the last 48 hours to get player buy-in, and Chelsea backed off. So 55 million plus 5 million in add-ons. Jean-Philippe Mateta is going to be a really interesting deadline day story because Milan this morning have decided to do some extra medical tests after the main medical yesterday. Now, Crystal Palace are calm about the situation. They've not been told the deal is off, and they're going to proceed with Jürgen Strand Larson, but Milan are being extra cautious ahead of finalising that move for Jean-Philippe Mateta from Crystal Palace for a fee in the region of 30 million. Mateta has already agreed terms, so if all goes according to plan, Mateta to Milan and Strand Larson to Crystal Palace.
If Mateta doesn't go through, then presumably Strand Larson will not go through either.
Well, you think because of the finances involved, they are somewhat intertwined, because Crystal Palace would be breaking another club record having brought in Brennan Johnson. But Palace sources insist that they're going to proceed with Strand Larson regardless. I suppose you could argue if there's a hitch, Mateta will still end up going during the summer. So yes, we're led to believe that they're intertwined and there could be a twist in theory. But at the moment, Palace is simply saying they're going to do Strand Larson. And as far as Mateta is concerned, nobody's told them that the deal is off, but Milan are doing these extra precautionary medical tests this morning, so we'll have to wait and see how that develops.
Ben, I know you're going to be with us through the course of the morning. Thanks very much indeed,
Thanks,
mate.
Ben.
Thanks, guys.
Some complications then as far as that Jean-Paul Mateta move goes. We'll talk Jacquet later, by the way. 20-year-old defender? Is that what Liverpool need? Anyway, we'll discuss it a bit later on. Right now, let's turn our attention to the EFL, shall we? Busy weekend. You've heard from a couple of texters already. Borough level on points, Coisty, with Coventry at the top.
What
they
a
beat
goal.
Norwich. Hayden Hackney, yeah, what a goal. He said it was probably the best goal he's ever scored, which doesn't surprise me. It's a fantastic strike, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a tremendous goal. You'd question again. I mean, Big Brazil would be going crazy. Ball played out for the back. I think the goalie plays one to the back and it's intercepted. Take nothing away from the finish. I've got to say, Hayden Hackney takes it and he kind of, no wonder is when he bends it into the goalkeeper's top left-hand corner. I thought it was a brilliant finish, Jeff.
I've bumped into a few Coventry fans lately. It's all doom and gloom nowadays. You know, Borough, by the way, they've won their last 15 points. In that time, Coventry have taken 6 points. So that 9-point difference between the two sides has completely vanished. They meet in 2 weeks' time at Coventry. Big game. Hull third, 5 points adrift after their win at Blackburn, who themselves are in big trouble at the moment.
Jeff,
they've only won once since November, 3 points off safety.
Mate, I was going to say to you, do you know what we look at? What about the Baggies? What about West Brom?
Man. Well,
I think I'm right in saying if Blackburn win their game in hand, they've gone to the bottom 3, you know.
Yeah, well, they've lost 9 out of 12.
Wow.
Under Eric Ramsey, their new coach, they've conceded 12 in 4, including 3 at Portsmouth. I mean, relegation rivals who moved above them in the table, you know. Desperate times. There's been some desperate decisions, haven't there, in terms of recruitment, you know, on the playing front and possibly the managerial front as well. We'll talk Watford a bit later on, of course, parting company with Javi Gracia, even though they are 10th. 4 points off the playoffs with a game in hand. It sounds like it was the coach's decision, but why? We'll discuss it with Troy Deeney a bit later on.
Yeah.
5 of the top 6 in the Championship won. The only exception, the leaders Cardiff held at Burton Albion, despite Alex Robertson's double.
What about Lincoln? Obviously a win again away at Wigan. What a story that is, Jeff.
Oh, I know. Brilliant story, mate. You know, they often knock on the door, don't they?
Yeah.
But it looks like the Championship could be on the way. One of my best mates, Russ Taylor, he is a massive Lincoln City fan. He will be beside himself, and that won't be a pretty sight because he's usually beside himself. But if Lincoln go up, he'll be more beside himself than ever. Bromley 6 points clear at the top in League Two. Big win at Gillingham, 4-1.
Yeah, sure.
See, Andy Woodman afterwards said, you'd have thought we'd have lost in the dressing room. There was no music or wild celebrations. When we get to where we want to be, then we can start having a party. But it's a great story, isn't it?
That really is. Some good results here as well. Salford picking up victory. Cambridge away from home.
Yeah.
It's a good league, tight league that. Well,
very
Bromley,
tight.
Bromley going well, but really tight down to 7th after that.
Yeah. I don't know if you noticed, Coisty, the weekend, it was the last 16 in the FA Trophy.
Yeah.
All 8 of the ties were won by the away team. I'm sure that's never, ever happened before.
Didn't see that.
Yeah, 4 National League sides lost at home, including Robbie Savage's Forest Green, who were whooped 3-0 by Wealdstone. I mean, Robbie was magnanimous in defeat. He said it could have been 5 or 6.
Yeah.
But they've got a few issues at the moment. They've won 2 of the last 8 in all competitions. But it was an amazing day for the underdogs in the FA Trophy. I thought we'd just finished. It's not the EFL, Coisty. But, you know, we mentioned the Polish league last season and how tight it was at the top. Well, I just wanted to give you an update. This weekend, Wisła Plock stay top on 33 points. Gornik a second on 33.
I've played there.
Have you?
Gornik? Yes.
Yeah. Jagliena, is it? I think they're third on 32. But then, it's not as tight because the gap is developing. And the reason for that is that Rakow Szestakova lost 2-1 against Wisła Plock. So that enabled Wisła Plock to stay top on 33. And now Rakow Szestakova fourth on 29. 4 points off the top. Bit of a gap developing there.
You've lost the Wisła Plock. I tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Well done, mate. Rather you than me attempting those.
Another update on the Polish league coming up next week. Oh, Coisty, I don't know. Where do we get? Well, we've done Sweden, haven't we? You know, so now it's Poland's turn to get the talkSPORT treatment.
Brilliant.
I've got a text here saying, "Come on, Jeff, sort it out. Can't remember the last time I heard anything positive about Derby County being spoken on talkSPORT. Always the same teams, never Derby. I think they're up to 7th now, aren't they? Having a really good spell. Coming up, we turn our attention back to Man City and whether Pep needs to start focusing more on his team's performance rather than refereeing decisions.
If a central defender do a strike, it's penalty, right?
I'm doing this gig up a ski slope, end of season in Austria, and I'm with my dad, and we're travelling down to the gondola. It's a big gig, but we'll get up there in a gondola, and my security goes, Maradona's here, and he wants to say hello to you. I'm like, Maradona in Austria? I'm like, yeah, get out of the car, and there's Maradona. And like, you know, I don't speak Spanish. And, you know, but we're very happy to see each other and we have our pictures taken together and we go up in the gondola and my dad's like, what's your life like, son? I go, it's amazing, isn't it? People like Maradona want to come and see me, And then 2 days later, I'm looking at the news on the Mac and Maradona is at the Chelsea game. And that Maradona hasn't got a beard at the Chelsea game. That wasn't Maradona that I met.
No, it was.
It was an imposter.
What, claiming to be Maradona?
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. You ever been scammed like that?
Not like that. Maradona come
Didn't you scammed someone though, didn't you?
What was that? What
it was a
lot of people, mate. Which one?
You scammed someone to get in a club, didn't you? Saying that we thought you was a monster.
Oh no, that was the guy that was the lead singer. Oh my God, you've thrown me now. His name. What's the band? Oh my God, Brother Beyond. And his name was... can't remember it.
No.
But anyway, I got in there, and then I'm in the club, and he thinks I'm the lead singer. Nathan Moore, right? Nathan Moore. And he thinks I'm the lead singer from Brother Beyond.
Yeah.
And they had a song, The Harder You Try. We'll play it in a second, right? And Nathan Moore, at that stage, was one of that Brother Beyond. Everyone like, oh, Brother Beyond, Brother Beyond. And then I go in there, and I was only about 18, 19 at the time. And then he comes up to me. I've got 3 drinks in him, and he comes up to me, he says to me, can you come on stage and sing?
What's your club or country's sliding doors moment? Its meaning originating from the 1998 rom-com of the same name, a sliding doors moment in football terms is simply a question of what might have been. An incident in a game where, had it gone the other way, would have altered history. For example, say John Terry had scored that penalty in Moscow in 2008. Chelsea would have been European champions and Avram Grant would have the biggest medal in continental club football to his name. It stands to reason then that he would have stayed at Stamford Bridge for a bit longer, meaning that Luis Felipe Scolari wouldn't have got a look in. Would he have done better than the World Cup winning Brazilian, who only lasted till February the following year? And could he have improved upon Chelsea's third-place finish? And as for United, who won the title that season, would defeats in that Moscow final have led to Cristiano Ronaldo leaving the club for Real Madrid a year earlier? And would that have meant that Rafa Benitez's Liverpool won the Premier League instead of them? That's a pretty big butterfly effect, all from one missed penalty kick going the other way. And if you want to dig a bit deeper, there's plenty more that could have been affected. What if Anthony Knockaert had scored his penalty against Watford? We'd have been denied the Troy Deeney moment, sure, but might Leicester have gone on to win promotion to the Premier League earlier than scheduled? And would that have meant that Claudio Ranieri would never make it to the King Power? Would Arsenal or Tottenham, therefore, have been champions in 2016? The most significant sliding doors moment perhaps ever, though, was Paul Gascoigne, Wembley, June 1996. What if this had gone in? That golden goal would have sent England to the Euro 96 final against Czech Republic. 30 years of hurt could well have come to an end. There's so many of these moments that could have altered destiny forever. What if Shearer had signed for United? Would Lampard's ghost goal against Germany have kick-started England's World Cup back in 2010? What if Sam Allardyce didn't get bogged down in all that controversy and denied Gareth Southgate the England job? Does make you think.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark's Real Sale. It's your last chance to save big on your next car. The sale ends on the 16th of February, 6 minutes past 7, Monday, February the 2nd. I'm Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist is with me. Billy, you are an evil man. Evil man. Billy's texted, please get Alan Brazil to give us a Polish league update on his return. I'd pay a lot of money for it.
Oh, Billy, fantastic, mate.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic.
You'd pay money to listen to that, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Right, talking of title races, we've mentioned the Polish title race, but what about the title race at home? Man City slipping up again against bogey side Spurs. They're 6 points behind the leaders, Arsenal. Pep Guardiola, speaking after the game, was left extremely frustrated with the decision to allow Dominic Solanke's first goal.
If a central defender do a striker, it's penalty, right? So you said, I didn't say. And so you saw it, and it's okay. And after that, second half, we can extend, 10, 15 minutes and get the control. The situation is a little bit easy. By the moment I start to put one more player there, more long balls, they win 1 or 2 second balls. And after that, they create the momentum. And after a goal, they have perhaps that 10 or 15 minutes. But yeah, keep going.
Coisy, is he just deflecting there from his team's performance, do you think?
Well, the answer to the question is obviously yes. He thinks it's a foul. I don't think anyway it's a free kick. Is he deflecting? He's got far more concerns than that goal being allowed, I think, because the second half they completely disappeared. And not for the first time this season. I think I mentioned it earlier, Jeff, before we speak. I think the fear factor's gone with City totally. I think teams playing against them believe they can get something, and I'll stand by it. I think it's a goal. What I think happens is, I think Solanke, first of all, proper centre forward, gives Kusanov one, brushes him off. We flick inside. Gahey puts his leg across. And then what Solanke does is he sticks his leg through Gahey's legs, gets a touch on the ball, and in the next movement, Gahey touches the ball and it goes into the back of the net. I'm giving a goal all day, Jeff. I do not for a minute think it's a free kick, and I think you're kind of grasping at straws trying to get a free kick for it when you've got bigger concerns with your second half performance.
Yeah. Let's get more on this and cross over to Man City's athletic correspondent, Sam Lee. Morning, Sam.
Good morning, Sam.
Morning, guys.
Yeah, Sam, look, never mind the Solanke goal. How concerned should Pep be about City's level of performance yesterday and in recent weeks? I mean, I'm going back to the defeat in the Manchester derby, the defeat by Bodo Glimt. they had a couple of bloodless wins against Wolves and Galatasaray. But overall, how concerned would he be?
Well, I think he knows they're in this process of transforming the team. Since January, at the start of last year, they've brought in so many players, so many big players have gone. The squad's completely different. So you're right, they've definitely not had good results recently. They've definitely not had good performances recently. And this trend of being worse in the second halves has been evident all season. It's not just recently. This goes back forever. And the way that they had their foot on Spurs' neck at half-time yesterday, the first half, they were miles better. And every time Spurs came forward, Kusanov or Rodri just brushed them off. They'd go up the other end. They should have had more goals. They didn't get them. But the way they fell off in the second half was really alarming. But in terms of how concerned is Guardiola going to be, I think he may accept that this is kind of the rough with the smooth. It's a new team, and that they're adapting to the way the Premier League is now. It's extremely physical and direct. Pep Lijnders did the press conference on Friday, and he was talking about 90% of the teams press high. So if you go long against that, you win the duel, you've got a chance at the other end. If they win the duel, they get into a counter-attack. He said this is happening at both ends, so the duels are more important than ever. So what City have done is they bought loads of players who are really good at getting past pressure. They bought Semenyo, they bought Marmoush, they bought Cherki, they bought Reinders who can carry the ball, they bought Aït-Nouri who can carry the ball. Problem is, none of them, apart from really Semenyo, none of them can really win duels. So I think that's where you accept that this is probably going to happen. And if they can't control games like they used to, it's probably that's the reason why.
It's amazing, Sam, looking at, and I take your point, and it's a point well made. I would bring Haaland into that category as well. He's one that certainly can win his duels. He did win one. He's a little bit unlucky. Tries to lift it over the goalkeeper, puts too much on it. But we've got a couple of problems, I think, looking at City. Again, Haaland's a problem for him, Sam. It's incredible, and obviously I'm a massive fan. But when he doesn't score, he doesn't seem to give you an awful lot. I think Rodri, again, the first half, like the team was a lot better, but he's just not getting. He's not back yet. He will get back there, of course he will, because he's far too good a player. But him not firing, and again the wee little problem when Haaland doesn't score, he doesn't contribute an awful lot. I think these are two things on top of other things that City have a problem with.
Yeah, I don't disagree. The thing is with Haaland, it is difficult, isn't it? Because I could easily be back on this show in a few weeks once he scored 200 goals. And we're talking about how great he is. But you do have both. You can have both conversations, and I think he's in a kind of unique position because City create so many chances. They're so dominant, and Haaland gets so many chances, and he misses such sitters. Like that one yesterday was quite bad, but he's missed some really obvious chances. So you think, he could have even more, this guy. And I know he did an interview after he got to 100 Premier League goals, and he said he knows he should have more. But yeah, other than that, it is what he gives you. I think City's biggest issue yesterday wasn't so much missing chances, but it was not actually creating the chance when they got into a good position. In the first half in particular, they zipped it through the line so well. Yeah. But a few times they came to Haaland, and Haaland's link-up play isn't great. So he tried to turn it around the corner. It didn't work. And that's kind of the issue. But again, Guardiola was asked about him a few weeks ago, and he just said, look, thank God we've got Haaland for this season. And I completely accept that if he's not scoring, he doesn't give you too much, especially on the ball. But they are still much better without him. Sorry, they're much better with him than without.
Yeah. Well, looking at Haaland's stats, by the way, and he's scored 2 in his last 11. But from August the 16th to now, he's played 39 times for club and country. I mean, that is a lot of football for Erling Haaland. Rodri's another problem, in my opinion, Sam, at the moment, and it's to be expected, of course it is. Serious injury, but just right now, shadow over the player he was.
Yeah, I think he's getting better. Also, in terms of the last month, that's when Nico Gonzalez has been out, and he'd just been getting into some good form. And the last couple of games he's come off the bench, he's looked quite good. So I think Rodri's probably been asked to play more than he would have expected at this point. I know at City they're not expecting him to be his best self until the summer, the World Cup, and then into next season. So again, when I talked about will Guardiola be worried? Of course he will in some respects, but I think you also, like you say, with Rodri, that we were expecting this because of the long injury, and this is just kind of what's going to happen in that middle period. Like while you're shouting at Reinders and Cherky to tell them to be switched on and win the duels, you're also knowing that Rodri, he's not going to be able to cover quite as much as he used to be able to, and that's why these games can get away with you. And for 30 minutes yesterday, once Spurs started fighting back, City just had no answer. So yeah, it is really concerning. I think long term, well, I think it'll be okay, but it depends on how those new guys adapt to, these defensive duties they're going to be asked to do. But yeah, with Rodri, it's a longer term thing for sure.
Sam, thank you very much.
Thanks
mate.
a lot, Sam. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Here's an interesting theory from Simon in Bournemouth. In view of Man City and now Villa dropping points almost every week, it's possible Man United, Chelsea and Liverpool could run them down, with those three teams in much better current form. And I accept that. But I'm not so sure about the next bit, Simon. Arsenal won their last 14 games in 2002 to catch Man United. So if Man United did the same, they'd have 83 points. That could be enough to win the title. Man United only have league games left, and that's a big advantage over the rest. Up the Arsenal, said Simon, and the lovable cherries as well. It's an interesting idea. I do think Man United are in the race maybe for second or third with the way things are now. But again, something we'll talk about quite a bit later in the show.
Absolutely.
Coming up, though, we'll turn our attention to Chelsea. 5 wins and 6 for Liam Rosenior. But does he have an issue with his supporting cast? Our supporting cast will be along to discuss that next.
They seem like a different team. You know, Fernandes is picking the ball up in areas he wants to, and it looks like he's controlling that midfield. You know, you've got Mainu who's come back into it. He's really, amazing performances, really, when he hasn't played in the Premier League since probably May, isn't it? Something like that. So, certain players have come. Yeah, certain players have come back in, Ben, and it looks like they've been let off the leash. And some of the goals against Man United, against Arsenal, Cunha's goal was a fantastic winner. But even the second and first goal, Burmo took it so well.
Yeah, I think United have had these players. They've had players that are verging on the edge of world class. They've had them for the last couple of seasons, but they just haven't been able to show it. They haven't been able to go out there and express themselves and play with a smile on the face. I know this system. We all know this system didn't really suit Man United with 3 at the back, and it wasn't rocket science to change it to 4. It really wasn't. So I think everybody is on board with this kind of confidence, and now everybody. But you look at the fixtures they've got as well: Spurs, West Ham, Everton, Palace. The next 4 games. That guy, the one who hasn't cut his hair for a while, the United Strand guy.
Strand, yeah.
I'm thinking that he doesn't want these to be wins, I'm thinking, like, what's he going to do for content afterwards? So, they've got a massive chance now. They win these 4 games, they're absolutely flying.
Yeah, I mean, they have been just a breath of fresh air recently, and last week, Ben, was a bit of a free hit. There was no real pressure on Man.
transfer window. Breaking news on talkSPORT with Intuit QuickBooks. Tackle your self-assessment and business admin with ease all year round. Search QuickBooks to find out more.
Good morning, 7:20 on Monday, February the 2nd. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist. Let's waste no more time and get a transfer update with Ben Jacobs. Morning, Ben. What have you got for us this time, mate?
Good morning. Couple of deals I can tell you about. David Datro Fofana will leave Chelsea on a loan and join their sister club Strasbourg. This one was a late deal. There was interest in Spain, but Emmanuel Emega, Strasbourg striker who will join Chelsea during the summer, got injured in training. So Chelsea have decided to utilise their multi-club model to the benefit of Gary O'Neill's Strasbourg, and David Datro Fofana is heading over there on a loan until the end of the season. Mamadou Sarr, the defender, is also coming back to Chelsea. He is due in London today to complete that move back after his loan was terminated mid-season. And Crystal Palace Academy product Jerison Rak-Saki, a young winger, is expected to join Stoke City on a loan deal as well. And a reminder, the big news from last night, Jeremy Jacquet to Liverpool, medical taking place today, £55 million plus $5 million in add-ons.
Ben, thank you. Stoke City, a bit of a graveyard for players, really, isn't it? Thanks, Ben. Actually, Ollie, our producer Ollie is a Stoke fan. Okay. Simon says, Jeff, instead of saying how bad Man City were yesterday, how about giving Spurs some credit? Makeshift back four when Romero didn't come out for the second half and totally took the game to City. Simon, you're right, they do deserve credit for that second half comeback. Xavi Simons, by the way, best I've seen him in a Tottenham shirt. I thought he was fantastic. But Simon, they were useless in the first half. It could have been 5, should have been 5 by half-time. That is the reality of the situation. Smithy says, once upon a time, if Spurs played like that against City, the match would have been over by half-time. I have to question why Pep didn't get Foden and Marmoush on earlier. The match pace was akin to a chess match. Thank you, Smithy.
I think you made a great point, Jeff. I think Xavi Simons, not just yesterday, I can't remember specifically, might have been a Dortmund game or something.
Yeah, Europe it was, yeah.
He's been like real improvement, very, very good performances.
But there was a sort of theory that he was better in Spurs European games than in the Premier League games, but I think he showed yesterday that he can make a real impact in Premier League games. I was really impressed with him.
I don't disagree, mate.
Olivia Bazzaclo is back with us.
Hello. Talking about my favourite subject. Talking about another team, actually, that had a really bad first-half performance, but a very good second-half performance, one which saw Chelsea turn the game around. The first time in Premier League history that Chelsea have been leading by 2-0 at half-time to come back and win. And actually, Liam Rosenior's first 7 games in charge have all gone to plan pretty much, bar that Arsenal game, which obviously the second leg of the semi-final is tomorrow evening. 3-2 down, if Chelsea can get the first goal there. Then we never know what might happen. But I've actually...
What, with the way you defended against West Ham? You really think that you can beat Arsenal with the way you defended against West Ham? You only beat them because, frankly, West Ham are so short of confidence, they wet themselves as soon as Chelsea scored a goal.
I mean, realistically, Jeff, I don't think we're going to do it.
Phew.
Realistically. However, I'm going to cling on to a little bit of hope that if Chelsea get the first goal, you never know what might happen in a game of football. But let's turn it back to that game because, like we say, West Ham had a very good chance at the start of the second half.
They did.
That could have put them out of sight. 3-0 game would have probably been done. I think credit's got to go to Liam Rosenior. Ali, what did you make of the subs? I think he got the starting lineup wrong, booing at half-time, admittedly. But the players he has the ability to then bring on, does it show that Chelsea's second-string side are not quite at the level when you look at Arsenal's second-string side? You can make 2 or 3 changes, it doesn't have much of an effect. But when Chelsea do it, especially in the down the flanks on the wing, the options just maybe aren't as good as the starting pair that Chelsea have.
Well, do you know what I thought watching the game? I thought West Ham carried on from where they've been recently. I thought Jared Bowen, puts the ball into that area, gets a break with the goal because the goalkeeper can't make his mind up where he's going to dive. Second goal, some of it. I think I mentioned to the 2 of you last week, wide areas, some of them Bowen have been different class as they were in the first half. I looked at the second half. I'll tell you what I will say to you. I don't think Pedro get enough credit
Mm.
I mean, it's a brilliant run from, was it Fofana had the run and the cross?
Yeah.
The header is out of this world. It's not even good. It's out of this world, and I don't think it got justice on the commentary, because when you're telling somebody to head the ball, you always tell them to hit forehead and down the way. But it was impossible for him to meet that cross with his forehead, and he actually turned his head and headed it sideways down into the ground. I thought it was a brilliant finish. I really did. I thought it was a fantastic goal. But getting back to your point, the energy levels come back into Chelsea's second half. Yes, the substitutions that he made an absolute a big difference. I mean, Cucurella, Fofana and Pedro, that's real quality. But a bit like Spurs, Olivia, you would be, yes, delighted with the second half, but you can't help but be concerned with what you're watching in the first half. There's a momentum with Chelsea just now, a little bit like there's a momentum with Manchester United. The only defeat that they've had, the manager's done really, really well.
Yeah.
Fantastic in the early stages. I think you would accept there's a long way to go. But he did make changes at half-time. They come back and win the game, and there is a momentum building with Chelsea. I still think there's an awful lot of work to do, though.
I think that George's text, he said, when I die, bury me in a Chelsea shirt, because I might just come back. Yao Pedro has to start every game. He's in the form of his life, and I would agree with that. But I just worry about them defensively, the way that West Ham took them apart in the first half, and Badiashile had an absolute nightmare. We know that, as did Garnacho.
Jarell Hatto as well.
By the way, Jarell Hatto. So defensively, I would worry about them. A huge amount. Can't deny how well Liam Rosenior's done in terms of results, though. And he's barely got his feet under the table. So a lot of credit to him for that.
Yeah, 6 out of 7, 3 out of 3 in the Premier League. And I feel like now he's maybe learnt his lesson a little bit. That especially the back four, I don't really think you need to bench Marc Cucurella.
Mm-hmm.
I think Marc Cucurella can handle playing every 3 days. He's very rarely injured. And the drop-off in the difference between them, the players that you bring on is so big. And I think Wesley Fofana's obviously a difficult one because he has been out for so long with so many different injuries. He is someone that absolutely cannot play every 3 days. But Chelsea's fixtures now are Wolves, Leeds and Burnley are the next 3. 2 of the 3 of them are at home. It gets really tough towards the back end of the season. And I think, we'll learn a little bit more about Liam when things maybe don't go to plan. But as far as these first 7 games are concerned, I think he's actually shut up quite a lot of people, Liam Rosenior, because he's had a lot of critics. A lot of people have had a lot of things to say. And so far, it's been really, really good. And there has been question marks over performances. I get that. And you still want to see more from a Chelsea team at home to West Ham. They should never have been in that situation in the first place.
Yeah, but look, credit them. They did come back and they did win the game. And at the end of the day, that's all that counts. It's all that counts is the results. And the way they did it was, in the end, you always thought that winning goal was coming, didn't you? It was just a question of when. But
yeah, Ali, do you think there's any excuse? So the way that Chelsea have been this season, Maresca left, they hadn't won in 5 in the Premier League. Now, given where Chelsea are, is finishing outside of the Champions League spots a failure?
Yes, I would suggest. What comes with momentum comes expectancy, and because you're right, because they're on a great run, Chelsea fans would understandably expect a Champions League position, and I think it'd be a massive disappointment if they don't get it.
And I think especially when you look at the frailties of the other sides around there as well. This is just a glorious opportunity. Just before we stop talking about Chelsea West Ham, by the way, you mentioned Somerville, you mentioned Bowen. Aaron Wan-Bissaka.
Unbelievable performance.
It was one of the best performances I've ever seen him give. It was absolutely sensational.
It was a phenomenal performance, Jeff.
Absolutely brilliant. And you know what? From West Ham's perspective, I know they lost the game. I know that's not what you're talking about, Olivia. They lost the game. But I think that they can take massive encouragement from what they did in the first half. When they looked anything but a relegation-threatened side, they played brilliantly for around 50 minutes of the game. It was just that they could not cope as soon as Chelsea got one back.
What I would say is that, when the momentum was with Chelsea, they found it really difficult. I just wasn't sure about the substitution that Nuno made to bring on a centre-back, to bring on Max Kilman. I know there's a fine line between wanting to keep, the lead or wanting to protect what you've got. But it just felt they went so defensive.
But they still managed to hit the post after that.
And they had a real, that was a real. I don't know where I was or what I was doing, but I was in the crowd and I had no idea that chance even happened. I saw it on Match of the Day. I was like, what?
That was a big chance.
Todibo, wasn't it? And then obviously
Todibo
the melee that followed, which saw him get sent off, and Adama Traore chucked Mark Cucurella across the floor.
While we're on that, right? This is, I don't know what you think, right? And I know you can't condone it, right? But this is where we've got it wrong. See if that happens in rugby, the referee just gets everybody together and says, right, get yourself sorted out, let's go on with the game. Because once you send somebody off for grabbing somebody by the throat, I get it, he grabbed him by the throat. The goalkeeper came up and did the exact same thing, trying to calm everybody down. So by the letter of the law, he should have been sent off as well. I just think sometimes these whole things get blown completely. Yes, they're not good for the game. Yes, it doesn't look good. But in a sporting game like that, tempers sometimes will go over the edge. I just think sometimes you get everybody, calm everybody down. And a minute to go, get on with the game.
Imagine if Todibo had scored the equaliser. I'd have been fuming, Ali.
Oh.
The daftest thing about all of that was you do not take Adama Traore on. I mean, he is built like a brick outhouse, and seriously.
João Pedro, the fear in João Pedro's eyes.
What have I done?
Adama Traore.
What have I done here? Brilliant. Thanks, Olivia.
Thank you.
Coming up, we'll turn our attention to a team who will likely be at the centre of deadline day, Crystal Palace. How concerned should the fans be? What do they need to get done today? We'll discuss that next.
Looking at the points, they're on the same points as Crystal Palace. They're 2 in front of Leeds. They're 3 in front of Forest. They're 8 ahead of West Ham. They haven't won, though, in any of their last 5 games in the Premier League when they've played Burnley, West Ham, Bournemouth, Sunderland and Brentford. And the next 7 fixtures that they've got look pretty tricky. City at home at the weekend, United away, Newcastle at home, Arsenal at home, Fulham away, Palace at home, Liverpool away, straight after the international break, plus the Champions League fixtures thrown into that. Are they too good to get dragged into a relegation battle?
I think they are. And I think a bigger problem for them as well, Sam, is, like Crookie said there, some of these players are turning up in the Champions League. But are you looking at Simmons and saying, look at the standard of players you're playing against in the Champions League? As well. Yeah, Moani hasn't scored in the Premier League yet. But they're 10 points off Manchester United in 4th position. If I'm the hierarchy at Spurs, I'm saying we want to get back-to-back Champions League seasons. Not going to happen this season because they're miles off.
Can you see them getting back into contention for a European place?
No.
With games against City, United, Newcastle, Arsenal, Fulham and Palace and Liverpool over the next
They could easily not win a game out of all those games. They could easily not win
he'll be gone if that does happen. You know, he's bought himself a little bit of respite, certainly with a hierarchy. Won't take long for the fans to turn again if they start to struggle against Man City this weekend. If they don't start to put wins on the board, inevitably they're going to make a change.
Solanke could be a player that helps him out. It's looked good to see Solanke back. He's given him that physical presence up front, holding the ball up, linking with players, took his goal well during the week as well. that is not an easy finish to take your time, composure, put into the corner of the net. So keeping Solanke fit, getting him the service that he needs. But other players have got to turn up. Simmons, Muani, Odebear. You've got.
We know sport is full of money, and when it comes to exhibition matches, it is the cash involved that gets them off the ground. But that's what makes it even more annoying if the event falls flat. When Mike Tyson fought Jake Paul, 65 million people streamed it on Netflix, but many people complained of buffering and freezing, and the fight itself wasn't that great either. So fans got shortchanged, while Tyson and Paul took home around $60 million between them. Another one with a huge prize pot was Tiger versus Phil in 2018. That had £9 million. But again, the pay-per-view had streaming issues. Miking up the players was an anticlimax too, and the golf itself was bang average. When Ronaldo went to Saudi, we all knew money was the driving force, given his salary of £177 million a year. But then they thought, let's get Messi over for a game. So we had PSG versus the Riyadh All-Stars. Both the GOATs were past their best, but PSG still lined their pockets, charging fans a few pounds to watch it on their official channels. Although it wasn't quite as bad as the 75 quid pay-per-view where Mayweather fought McGregor. I feel like what we really need is constantly high-quality action delivered to you for free. And that, my friends, is called talkSPORT.
Good morning. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist and Arnold Clark. The UK's biggest used car sale is ending soon, so check it out now. We're going to move on to Crystal Palace right now. They registered an away point at Forest yesterday, but they played against 10 men for the entire second half. Of course, Jean-Philippe Mateta is set to join AC Milan today. But it could be that Jacob Strand Larson is on his way to South London. Joining us now, somebody who was heavily involved at Crystal Palace in the FA Cup success last season. In fact, former goalkeeping coach Dean Kiley joins us. Morning, Dean.
Good morning, Dean.
Morning, fellas. How you doing?
Yeah,
Doing well,
good, thanks,
thank
mate.
you.
Hey, how impressed were you with that Neco Williams save yesterday?
Yeah, very good, wasn't it? Yeah, excellent. Yeah, he regretted it afterwards, but just shows you everyone's got goalkeeping instincts inside them, I think.
Was that a good point for Palace, or was it a bad point by the fact they played with 10 men against 10 men in the second half?
Yeah, I think with the situation as it is, and they're searching for a win for so long, I just thought the second half that if Palace get that win, then that would be it put to bed. There's the win, and then sort of they go a little bit, but they coughed and spluttered against 10 men, and actually. In watching the game, I thought Forest had probably the best of it, really, considering. So Forest would have been more happy with that point than Crystal Palace, because then the run just continues, and it's doom and gloom and very negative around the whole place, I think, at the moment.
It is, Dean. I mean, and it's kind of understandable as well. But before we probably go on to that, what I would like to ask you is, what's it been like, or what was it like? I mean, the dramatic turnaround in the club. I get such a buzz myself from going to watching the Community Shield final, obviously the FA Cup final. That lift that the club had, the supporters, just for that period, or maybe whatever it was, certainly 12 months, must have been fantastic.
Yeah, I think over a long period of time, really, is the fact that when I look at, I was there for over 8 years, so this has been building for a long time in terms of Dougie Freeman, the recruitment. It's so well documented, but it works. You find players, you bring them in for a price and you sell them for bigger. But in the meantime, they come and add value to Crystal Palace. So that's been a sort of tried and tested formula. It's worked really well. And then that culminates, regardless of managerial situation, with the FA Cup, which is incredible. And like you said, everyone gets a huge lift from it, and rightly so. But then how many times have we seen it is that the flip side of that, on the other side of it, I think a massive, massive thing for Oliver was, he put it perfectly. He said everyone in a tracksuit has done their job and everyone in a suit hasn't, in losing the Europa League place. And I think that tarnished the whole thing thereafter. And I think approaching into this season, there was a few things and there was a few clashes in terms of behind the scenes. And obviously, which works out that the manager has told everyone he's leaving. And obviously, I'm sure the club didn't want that to happen. And now it seems that people are, certainly with JP, he'll think that he's done his time, his stock's high, and he'll want to leave because, let's get it right, the manager's leaving. So things are changing, which is, listen, it works in cycles, but certainly, like Ali said, the huge high of that FA Cup victory seems in the distant past at the moment.
I mean, you mentioned JP, Jean-Philippe Mateta there, and I wonder how big a loss he'll be, not just on the pitch, because I remember the celebrations in particular after that FA Cup final win, and it seemed to me like he was a leader. I mean, I may be wrong, but it seemed to me like he was one of the leaders at the club. Was that the case?
Yeah, I mean, I was in the recruitment when JP came in, got £14 million from Mainz, fitted the criteria, was a slow burner, didn't get straight into the team and set the world alight, but Monday to Friday around the place, great fella, great individual, works really hard, tries to improve, and then things fall into place and he gets his great run and takes off and scores all his goals. And unfortunately, and Oliver knew what he signed up for, like Patrick Vieira and Roy Hodgson before that, is that if people are doing well for Crystal Palace, bigger teams will look and be interested, and it's difficult to avoid them moving on. And that's obviously where it's got to with JP. For me, when it was, I keep saying, Dougie Freeman, is that it's coming if people are doing well. And it should be a reward for the work that the club's done, that somebody comes in for 14 and goes out for 30, 35, whatever the number, that people behind the scenes will be happy and well done. Obviously, Dougie is not there now, so it'll look and feel slightly different, I think.
I tell you, I mean, it is some job to replace that talent, Dean, when you think about it. Over the period, Elise Eze, Anderson, Gay, Mateta looks who's going to be, all these guys to name but a few. I mean, you're absolutely spot on. Your recruitment has been nothing short of first class. But with that brings you the problem of replacing it.
Well, let's get this right. There's not a cupboard under the stairs with these players waiting just to come and be on earth from nowhere. That's a lot of hard work, a lot of... Listen, 3 ways to recruit. It's sort of data, it's expertise of a recruitment department, which again was headed up by Dougie Freeman and has worked amazingly because of the evidence you've just presented. And then the third way is your agent led. Agents get on the phone and try and force their player on you. So
yeah,
I think Matt Hobbs, being their director of football now, was previously at Wolves. I'm imagining the recruitment meeting after 5 minutes, who's replacing Mateta? Oh, well, what about Strand Larson at Wolves? So he's obviously worked with him previously, and that's who they've identified. The worry for me is this is the last day of the window, and, you know as much as me that, the slightest thing, moves out of place and it all falls down. If JP's still in South London tomorrow, he'll be absolutely devastated, I'm sure. And obviously, I think as well, no one's mentioned that if Strand Larson does come, he's coming to a place for the next 3.5 months, the manager's around, and then after that, he's not. So it could look different in the summer. So
I know.
Times.
Yeah, big issue. Big issue is the position of Glasgow. There's no question about that.
Great point.
Dean, thanks very much indeed.
Thanks, Dean. All the best, mate.
Pleasure, lads.
And by the way, I don't want to throw, water on the prospect of Strand Larson going there. 1 goal in 22 Premier League games so far this season.
But Jeff, I think that's a brilliant point, and I need to be brutally honest about it. I hadn't thought about it. How can you entice somebody to a club when you don't know who the manager's going to be at the start of next season?
Well, I think he's just desperate to get away from Wolves. I'll be, brutally honest at the moment.
Well, that's hardly a great blinking buying point from Palace.
Well, it certainly isn't. No, because he's not coming cheap. That's for sure. Dean Kiley, the former Crystal Palace goalkeeping coach. Right, still to come on breakfast.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Doing what matters for the trade. Find your local branch at travisperkins.co.uk.
When your tires are flat, Aston Villa.
Let's get in there.
Now then, we asked Gabby Agbonlahor to join us this morning, and when we did, his sharp response was, no chance, get lost. I'm not sure what accent that was, by the way.
No, I'm buying it, though. You got away with it.
Okay. You shouldn't have pointed it out, should I, really? Bit of sweet talk was enough, though, to persuade him to come on after 9. We'll get stuck right into Villa's defeat at home to Brentford, whether their title challenge is over, and, of course, the decision to disallow Tammy Abraham's goal. Former Premier League rep Chris Foy will have his say on that and all the other debatable decisions next. And that was a look ahead, all thanks to the brilliant Travis Perkins.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Bricks on bricks on bricks. Over 40 million available to order with delivery to site. That's one less thing to worry about.
Did you hear Ray's version this morning? Ed, have we got Ray's version of Singing Passenger? Take this in.
Arsenal have gone through an entire league campaign without losing. Played 38, won 26, lost exactly none.
Well, you only need the goals when they're running low. Only miss the net when the pressure grows. There's only one star boy by KO.
Saka off the bench to score. They are loving life at the Emirates.
Only know you've been high when you're feeling low. Please, Pep, leave us alone. Come on, Arteta, you've got to bring it home.
Jump on that boat because this is the way that we're going to live the next 4 months.
Please don't let it go.
Wonderful.
Isn't that really beautiful?
I need to jump on the boat as well.
Yeah. Tickets for the unlikely pilgrimage of Harold Fry available on www.haroldfrymusical.com. You'll absolutely love this. Passengers album One for the Road will be available on all streaming platforms alongside the official video release for the album's second single, Walk Upon the Water, featuring Kingdom Choir on YouTube, and www.haroldfrymusical.com. Like we say, you've got a stunning voice, and Ray's might just be that little bit better. Don't be...
No, look, it is.
Don't be threatened.
Let's not beat around the bush.
But Arsenal fans in for a treat
Michael,
this morning.
I'd done that at 10 to 6, and I was a little bit too early.
He hadn't had his minute
The
cap.
practice all night.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you want to do a little...
Look, I can try already. I've just been given these lyrics in front of me. I've got my guitar.
Ray, you have to get involved as well. It's the duo I never knew I needed.
I'll say the go bit at the end.
Go for it, yeah. Go!
Where you only need the goals when they're running low. Only miss the net when the pressure grows. There's only one star boy, Bakayo.
Morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling and Ally McCoist. 7:50, Monday, February the 2nd. Headlines this morning: Justin Rose set the tournament record by winning the first big PGA Tour event of the year, the Farmers Insurance Open. Carlos Alcaraz won a pulsating Australian Open final to become the youngest man ever to complete a career Grand Slam. He's just 22, and deadline day is in full swing. So let's get another transfer update with our deadline day reporter, Ben Jacobs. Good morning, Ben.
Good morning. Well, Wolves are going to be busy on deadline day. They're trying to add 2 strikers. Adam Armstrong set to join. Fee already agreed there with Southampton. £7 million plus £2 million in add-ons pending only formalities. And Wolves are trying to finalise a package that will see Che Adams return to England from Torino. The Italian club are looking for a fee in excess of £6 million. Jurgen Strand Larson is expected to complete his £48 million move from Wolves to Crystal Palace, although Jean-Philippe Mateta and Milan still has a little bit of work to do. Crystal Palace are calm about the situation, but Milan have decided to do some precautionary extra medical tests before completing that move. Palace have not been told as of this morning that that deal is off, but it's one to watch throughout the day. Jamal.
Thanks very much indeed, Ben. More from Ben very shortly, but right now, time of the week to get into those refereeing discussions and VAR discussions from the weekend. Plenty to discuss today. Let's welcome former Premier League ref Chris Foy to the show. Morning, Chris.
Good morning, Chris.
Morning, boys.
Chris, right, lots to get through. So first, Tammy Abraham equaliser, ruled out, ball out of play 19 seconds earlier. Now, it looks out, but what sort of conclusive evidence was that based on? How do we know conclusively that the ball wasn't, in some part, overhanging that line? Could the VAR see something we couldn't?
I can conclusively confirm that the ball was out, Jeff, so we don't have a problem with that. And it was an interesting decision, wasn't it? Because, as we say, 19 seconds later, the ball was in the net. And I think I counted 4 passes, a shot, a save, and a goal, but quite clearly with the ball being out of play.
How can you conclusively say... What picture did you see, Chris, that showed you it was out of play?
I've seen an image, Jeff, so I'm comfortable with that.
Okay. And that was the image the fourth official would have seen?
Well, the VAR who sits in the hub would look for that. And once he gets the image. I mean, I think this was where there was a delay. That was the bit that caused the confusion. They were waiting to get that image through. Once they'd seen it, it did take a little bit of time, but it was the right decision and the ball was out of play.
Can I ask you, Chris, just to clarify something for me, right, regarding the clear and obvious? Is VAR asked to get involved if they think the referee has made a clear and obvious error?
Well, the VAR can only check 4 things, Ali. Goals, red cards, mistaken identity, penalty kicks, and for an intervention and a review to be recommended, they have to have clear and obvious evidence. They have to recognise that it's a clear and obvious error to recommend a review to send the match referee to the monitor.
See, therefore leads me to my next question. Does anybody think that referee has made a clear and obvious error? Because I don't think he's made... He might have made an error, Chris, and the boys in VAR might say, well, he has made an error, but you'll never convince me that he's made a clear and obvious error.
Just on that, Ali, I mean, one of the criteria in the protocol is, is the ball out of play prior to? And it was. So because the ball is out of play, obviously you can't give the goal.
Yeah.
Okay, look, we could talk about that for a while, but there are a lot of others. Pep Guardiola...
You got a cup of tea there, Chris?
Pep Guardiola upset that Dominic Solanke's first goal was allowed to stand after he appeared to go through the back of Mark Gahey. What was your view on that?
Well, the starting point for this was a goal was given, and when I watched it in real time, it was a goal, and it's only afterwards when you start to dissect, forensically examine, slow things down, go image by image, that there might be a case there. But listen, that's not what VAR is for. It's not there for that. I mean, 2 years ago, everybody was saying that you re-referee and you forensically examine incidents. You have to go with the referee's decision here of referee's call, because it's not a clear and obvious error. Yes, you can make a case for it if you use still images, but VAR is not about that.
Go all day. There's my 10 pence worth, Chris. Go all day.
Chris,
unsurprisingly.
By the way, if you saw our text messages, you would realise people are still saying exactly that VAR is re-refereeing games at the moment. Here's another one for you. Kevin Sharder of Brentford sent off for the foot in the midriff of Matty Cash. I would say, by the way, Matty Cash, I mean, he rolled more than George the Steamroller in Thomas the Tank Engine ever rolled. I mean, I thought that was a disgraceful reaction. Was it the clear red? Could there be an argument that he was just trying to push himself off the player?
I don't think there's too much wriggle room here, is there, for the referee, Tim Robinson? I think when you see that, irrespective of what Matty Cash does, there's 6 studs in his nether regions. It's not a football in action. And it's given on field as a red card for violent conduct. And I don't think that was clearly wrong. I think it's the right call. Whether he's over-exaggerating Matty Cash, that's for other people to discuss.
Moving on to... There's so many, aren't there? Manchester United against Fulham. The Cuenca goal for Fulham that was ultimately ruled out, Chris. Now, look, it took over 4 minutes to rule that out, even with semi-automated, offsides. What was happening? Semi-automated on go slow. I mean, we were told this was going to make things much quicker.
Yeah, this was a really complex offside, and actually it wasn't one. There were two. There were two to consider in this incident when Cuenca scored, because Chukwueze was offside in the attacking phase of play. The goal scorer was offside. Then we had to look at a deliberate play deflection. There was something there to look at as well. And then, of course, when they decided that it was really, really close, they had to bring semi-automated in, which proved that it was offside. And it was a very long and very protracted check of 2 offside decisions. So it did take a little bit of time. It is the right call, but it wasn't an easy one for the VAR to dissect.
Yeah.
Finally, Chris, just the last one. Do you go for a lie down after you've talked to Jeff and I?
No, I'm delighted it's the transfer window. I'm just hoping someone's coming in for me later on today.
Yeah, but Chris, the bad news is that wasn't quite the last one. Because I have to ask you, during the course of that game between Manchester United and Fulham, how the heck could John Brooks not have seen that Cuenca's challenge on Cunha, when he's a few feet away, was a clean challenge and that he clearly took the ball? One of our Premier League referees not being able to see that is a real cause for concern, isn't it?
Let's just bring some perspective here, Jeff. The penalty was given, actually, for the holding offence outside the penalty area with Cuenca on Cunha. And he actually let go before he went.
Oh, come on. Now, Chris, that's too convenient. He gave it for a foul.
No, Jeff. Afterwards, he actually explained to the crowd, didn't he? He never went to the monitor because it's either inside or outside.
Of course, he explained that it was holding outside of the box, but initially he'd given the penalty for the challenge inside the box.
Yes, I am lying down while I'm speaking to you. You've got to trust me. You've got to trust me on this one, fellas.
Chris, you're an ex-referee. Why would we trust you?
Jeff, I've been to Hartlepool on a Tuesday night and you trusted me.
All right, mate.
No, he gave the penalty for the holding offence, and quite rightly, it was outside. So it was quite rightly given as a free kick, not a penalty.
Chris, gonna have a lie down, mate.
Brilliant, mate. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. Cheers.
Take care, fellas. Bye.
You too, mate. By the way, sometimes, look, Mark has texted. He said, yet again, the talkSPORT media bias against Arsenal continues. And you know why we're biased against Arsenal, Coisty? Because you and I, we both thought the Villa goal should have been allowed to stand. So Mark believes that shows our bias against Arsenal. I mean...
that's hilarious. Ah, dear me.
Seriously. And by the way, he gave that penalty for what he thought was a foul. Absolutely 100%. Coming up, we turn our attention to the title race. Arsenal 6 points clear once again, and after all the talk about them cracking under pressure, did they prove at Elland Road that they are ready to go all the way this season? Of course they did. 03717 22 3344 is the number if you want to have your say.
This is Robbie Williams with Angels.
I sit and wait. Does an angel contemplate my fate? And do they know the places where we go when we're growing old? 'Cause I've been told that salvation lets their wings unfold. So when I'm lying in my bed, thoughts running through my head, and I feel that love is dead. In your cars, on the buses, I'm loving angels instead. Everybody, and through it all. Forsake me. I'm loving angels instead. When I'm feeling weak and my pain walks down a one-way street, I look above.
Life after football. For a lot of players, it means going into punditry. Some turn to coaching or working in the game in other ways. But what about the rest? Some former footballers turn their sights away from the game, and there are a few big surprises. First up, from rainbow flicks to pancake flips. Ex-Chelsea and Southampton defender Ken Monku switched up his footballing career to buy a Dutch pancake house. He bought out the shop, which had been his favourite pancake spot as a child, and before long he was mixing the batter and getting behind the stove. Next, Everton legend Thomas Gravesen swapped out the high stakes of the Premier League for those of the poker room. He made over 150 appearances for the Toffees and won the Scottish Premier League with Celtic. Turned out the Danish international was pretty darn good at poker. He racked up a reported £100 million from his Las Vegas adventures. Remember former Chelsea goalkeeper Petr Cech? Turns out football nets weren't the only goals he was pretty handy in front of. After retirement, he became a goaltender in ice hockey. Same skills, very different surface. And he even won a Division 2 title with Guildford Phoenix. For ex-Liverpool centre-back Daniel Agger, it wasn't just fancy footwork that was in his blood. He was also pretty good with his hands. The Denmark international turned to tattoo artistry after he hung up his boots. He'd qualified as a skin artist while at Anfield, and he then became the co-owner of his own tattoo company as well. It's not all glamour for ex-pros, though. 1966 World Cup winner Ray Wilson set up a very different kind of business. He became an undertaker after he retired. Finally, not many people can say they've won both a World Cup and starred in an Oscar-winning film. In fact, there's only one person in the entire world who can say that. Frank Leboeuf, the former Chelsea defender, was part of the 1998 France squad who won the World Cup. He ended up marking Brazil's Ronaldo in the final and helped his side to a 3-0 win. But Leboeuf had already begun acting on the side while he was playing football, and his biggest role came some years after his retirement when he landed the part of a doctor in the Stephen Hawking biopic The Theory of Everything.
I embrace the career of acting, so I want to learn more. So seeing lots of movies is a part of my job.
To be honest, with all the dramatic diving in the game these days, there's probably tons of ex-pros who've got the acting skills to make it in Hollywood.
Morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist and Arnold Clark's Real Sale. It's your last chance to save big on your next car. The sale ends on 16th of February. Explosive reaction to Chris Foy a few minutes ago. I mean, actually, my laptop is sizzling at the moment. There is so much heat coming off, and that heat, by the way, is all on Chris. Morning, gents. I think someone needs to check in on Chris. I get the feeling Howard Webb is behind the camera monitoring his every word. Ian from Hartlepool says, typical referees stick with their own shameful exploitations. Paul Rees said, the Tottenham decision cannot be forensically examined, yet the Aston Villa decision can. Ben says, from where the referees, VAR and PGMOL make up the rules as they go along. Absolute nonsense. Martin, stop getting refs on. They'll never go against their mates. Tony, am I going stupid, or did Chris Foy say you can't go back and analyse something and stop everything when that goal was given? But 10 seconds earlier, he said it was okay to go back and analyse and look for a picture of the ball going out. Spud in Winchester, what a waste of time. Chris was one-sided nonsense. Get real, refs are getting worse. Guy in Worcester, simple answer, get rid of VAR. And Dave, sorry Chris, that bloke you have on it is an officious idiot and one of the reasons why VAR is causing issues. Yes, the ball looked out, however, 19 seconds before the goal. I could do a better job with this than those Herberts who are running it at the moment. Sorry, Chris.
What you're effectively saying is Chris has touched the nerve with one or two this morning.
Ooh, just a bit. Honestly, they are a handful. They're a handful.
Oh, dear me.
He's getting absolutely pilloried. I think the one thing that is clear, nobody is happy with VAR as it is right now. Nobody.
Jeff, I'll get back to that FA Cup weekend. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Even Saturday, I know I'm doing at a junior game. I'm watching Auchinleck Atherley. It's just brilliant. It's fantastic. The game flows. You know, referees make mistakes, the players make mistakes, the coaches make mistakes, and just go on with it, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. No VAR involved as far as Arsenal were concerned in their win at Leeds. And in fact, in the end, it was the perfect weekend for the Gunners.
Leeds United 0, Arsenal 4. Arsenal moves 7 points clear at the top of the table. It's been a marvellous, commanding response after defeat last weekend.
For these title contenders, it's a second home defeat, having won 8 in a row, and the first time they've lost consecutively here in the league since February 2024. Gabby Agbonlahor is stunned alongside me. Aston Villa 0, Brentford 1.
Standing ovation for these Tottenham players, because from 2-0 down at the break, it's finished Spurs 2, Manchester City 2, more lost ground in the title race as far as Pep Guardiola's men are concerned.
It just doesn't look right, that team, and you can't imagine that they're going to win the league on the back of that performance. I just can't see it.
Yeah, no, take that point from Alan Pardew. I mean, I said earlier on, Coist, I think it's over. Yeah. And the reason I think it's over is because those who are pursuing have too many frailties. But also, Arsenal showed, in a game that many people thought would be the old proverbial banana skin, that they do have the mentality to kick on and win the title. Because, I mean, they crushed Leeds in the end.
Yes, I take that. It's generally speaking, though, I looked at it the morning of the game for Jeff. It's generally a place they do exceptionally well, Arsenal, and I fancied them strongly. I didn't fancy them to dismantle Leeds the way they did, because that's what they did. It was a proper job they did on them. But yeah, if ever there was a wee reminder, but I keep saying to you, Jeff, I haven't yet this season seen Arsenal, really weak or not. Even the games they've lost. Do you know what I mean? The games they've lost, they've been in them. I keep going back about the game up at Anfield, the Manchester United game. They haven't really put a foot wrong. Yes, they've lost a couple of games. I get that, and that is going to happen. But if you look at it, Jeff, I just think the level of performance and the level of result has been fabulous so far. Yeah. And I don't see them collapsing.
No, I don't either. Bukayo Saka, of course, injured in the warm-up. But Noni Madaweke took his place. What a game he had.
But Jeff, that's him. And you've heard me going on about him for weeks and weeks and weeks. I think he's a different level.
Yeah.
I really do. I think he gives you something in a wide area that none of them give you. Yeah, he'll lose the ball. Yes, sometimes he'll infuriate you. Yes, sometimes he'll do too much on it. But you cannot put a price on a winger that gets by one or two people and the whole picture changes once you get by them.
No,
and that's exactly what he does, mate.
He was brilliant. He's nailed on for a place in the England squad.
Yes.
And maybe the England starting lineup. Who knows?
Yes. On current form, and I know Saturday, you could say Saturday, well, it wasn't a one-off, but Saturday certainly highlighted the fact. I think he starts in that position for England.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me at all, but the impact he had certainly in that game the weekend was brilliant. Look, Arsenal double-winning captain Tony Adams joined Sunday edition yesterday. He talked up the quality and depth of Arteta's squad.
I love this squad, and I think
this one, not necessarily back 3 or 4 years ago, is my point.
I think the squad couldn't handle the injuries. We had Saliba about 3 years ago, and it really struggled when he got injured. And like with Saka again, in previous years, if they had stayed fit, they would have definitely won the league those years. I think Arteta's learned from it, and I think the way that he rotates today is incredible. He really does. And we saw yesterday with Saka, I said at the top of the show, he got injured and we was able to get the job done still. So that would never happened a few years ago. So I think they've got the best squad in the league. And if he keeps them...
Hey, look, they've got a brilliant squad. I mean, stories this morning about the injury to Michael Merino.
Yes.
They don't need to replace him, do they, Coisty? They've got so many players.
Jeff, listen, the wee fella who... incidentally, I think it's been terrific. Saka's been absolutely terrific, right? So he comes off injured, he comes up in the warm-up. Listen, sit down and have a wee listen to this. This is who come off the bench at the weekend, right? Martinelli, Odegaard, Calafiore, Jesus and Eze. How about that?
Not too shabby, is it?
That's come off the bench.
Yeah.
And that's not even Saka getting a mention.
Yeah.
I mean, it's as strong as a squad, perhaps, as the Premier League's ever seen.
And look, they're absolutely in pole position. I just don't see them slipping up. Arsenal's next game live on talkSPORT tomorrow night. Of course, it's the second leg of their Carabao Cup semi-final against Chelsea. Lee in Chichester says, talking about refereeing decisions, Hartlepool versus Torquay in the playoff final, say no more. Lee, let it go. Let it go, mate. Coming up, we bring you the very latest from Transfer Deadline Day.
Get Chris back on to ask him about that.
Whether your club is going to make the deal that you want.
It will be an underwhelming Premier League title.
It won't be.
I think it will be.
For Arsenal. If they win the title for the first time in 22
they won't care.
years, they will not
No,
care.
they won't care,
that
but
it's
I'm-
underwhelming.
but
They'll just
everyone
think it's
else
job
will.
done. Well, yeah, last year he was giving Liverpool stick for the way they went about.
And I've been
winning
proved
it.
right when you look at them this year. It
Well,
wasn't
they still won the league.
It wasn't a great Premier League
But they
last
still
year.
won the
But
league.
Liverpool can't. That Liverpool team. That's what I said at the time. It was in March. We're at the Cheltenham Festival. I got a lot of stick from Liverpool fans, but I stand by it. You can't talk about the Liverpool team that won the league last year in the same breath as Manchester City's treble winners, United's treble winners, Jose's Chelsea,
Totally
Arsenal's
right.
invincible.
But it was the first season in their development. It's like this season for Arsenal. This is the first season that they're going to put some silverware on the board. So you don't just automatically put them into a bracket with some of the greatest teams that have ever graced the Premier League. That happens over a longer period of time. It may well be that after that, they had to rejig. They surprised themselves by winning the title last year. They had to rejig. They had to rebuild for the future. It may be that they come again.
Whereas a different story with Arsenal. They've been building up to this moment. And I
Absolutely.
think that's why Gabby says, not to their fans, but maybe to the rest of us, if they are only going to score 69 goals, you've said maybe it is a little bit underwhelming. And I love Theo Walcott, but I can't believe he even asked the question on television. Would this Arsenal team beat the United team of 2008? Absolutely no chance.
It is a little odd, though, having come close 2 seasons ago with an attacking approach, a creative approach, that Arsenal have gone in such a different direction in such a quick sort of turnaround of time. They're less willing to take risks now. Who's responsible for that? Why have they decided to do that?
That's the manager, of course, and I don't think there's any Arsenal fan out there that will care come May. They will say 1-0 to the Arsenal.
Good morning, it's almost 8:20. It's a Monday morning, February the 2nd. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling and Ally McCoist. Guy in Worcester is a Leeds fan. Over the 2 games we played this season, he said Arsenal are the only team to play us off the park.
Yeah.
They're a different class, though I am still feeling confident Daniel Farke will keep us up this year. Right, time for our latest deadline day update with our transfer reporter, Ben Jacobs. Morning again, Ben.
Good morning.
Anything moving this early in the morning?
Yeah, a few things are moving early this morning. So Angel Gomez is going to join Wolverhampton Wanderers from Marseille on a loan with a buy option. And he's up bright and early. That medical, I understand, is ongoing. West Ham are making a move to sign a centre-back, Axel Disasi of Chelsea, on a loan. Talks are ongoing. And I think there's a fair chance that this one happens after Disasi's move to Milan fell through. They decided not to proceed. Chelsea would prefer a permanent move, but a loan may be the only option heading into the final hours of the window. So those two are active. Jeremy Jacquet, I can tell you, will sign a 5-year contract at Liverpool with a 1-year option. That's summer 2026. The fee again, £55 million plus £5 million in add-ons. Arsenal are scouring the market today after Mikel Merino got injured. It remains to be seen whether they can do any business. We might see a goalkeeper outgoing at West Ham United, Mads Hermansen, and Leicester. There could be a return there. And Jamal Lascelles is going to leave Newcastle United and complete his move to Leicester City as well. So quite a bit of early movement on deadline day.
Ben, thanks very much indeed. Apologies for a bit of a iffy quality there, but Ben is here, there and everywhere this morning, which explains it a bit. Jamal Lascelles set to leave Newcastle. He's been a great servant for them, Coisty.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He's a great servant, yeah. I was surprised. I could see your wee eyes light up. The fact there was transfer work getting done this early in the morning.
Yeah.
And I take your point, because I thought you and I were the only people that worked at this unearthly hour of the morning.
Hey, this is not an unearthly hour. This is glorious.
This
It's
is
20 past 8.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly, mate. I'm joking.
Yeah, no, fantastic. Andy from Middlesbrough says, please give Kim Hellberg a mention on what a job he's doing at Middlesbrough. To pull level with Coventry after overcoming a 10-point lead is remarkable. I couldn't agree more. They're absolutely flying at the moment, aren't they? And a brilliant goal at the weekend as well to beat a bang-in-form Norwich City side. Right, 8:22. Let's get the latest odds with Coral and Simon Clare.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT with Coral. We're here for the fans this season. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
Simon, good morning.
Simon, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are we doing? Have you had good weekends?
Yeah,
we had a great weekend,
good
mate.
weekend. Although I turned on the TV on Saturday afternoon hoping to watch a bit of Leopardstown, only to find that it was off. But they did race yesterday.
They did, yeah. They did.
A big one for Gordon Elliott, wasn't it?
Oh, brighter days ahead, you know. Fantastic. And I assume goes for the champion at Cheltenham.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was a fantastic day's racing yesterday. I was actually out there, went over on Friday night and woke up on Saturday morning to the news that there was no day one of Leopardstown. And, I mean, 6,000 English travelled over the meeting. And what the hell were they going to do in Dublin with no racing? Well, as you can imagine, we took a leaf out of the Alan Brazil guide to how to spend time.
Well, Simon, I was going to say, if there is one city where you're quite happy to sit and twiddle your thumbs, Dublin might be it.
The choice of wood-panelled sports bars that served good Guinness was endless, you know. And we ended up in one of those, and we got to watch the race from Musselburgh, and of course the Arsenal Leeds game, which come to. But no, yesterday was fantastic. Madgeborough won the champion chase and is 6-4 favourite for the Dublin chase, and is 6-4 favourite for the champion chase in a few weeks' time. And you're right, Jeff. Brighter days ahead. Beating Lossiemouth, that was a big blow for Gordon Elliott against Willie Mullins, his old rival. And she's now joint favourite with the New Lion for the champion hurdle at 5-2, which is just 5 weeks tomorrow away.
Wow!
So we're getting close.
We are.
And, of course, we've got today's racing as well, which has been shifted. I mean, only Irish racing could lift and shift a meeting from Saturday to Monday and ask Punchestown, which had been racing today. And remember, today is a bank holiday in Ireland. Imagine just saying, Punchestown, no, you had a meeting, but no, you had loads of bookings and stuff. You're going to now be Wednesday. Brilliant.
It's amazing.
Amazing how they just kind of shifted it across. And,
It shows it can be done if there's a will. One game in the Premier League this evening, Sunderland take on Burnley. I mean, look, it's impossible to see Burnley surviving, isn't it? I would suggest that the odds will say just that.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're a long way off. Is it? They're 1-33 to avoid relegation. They're 11 points from safety, and their goal difference is shocking. So you can call that 12 points. So it's unlikely they're going to stay up, but they're actually still performing solidly recently. But Sunderland, they're unbeaten at home, I think, this season. They're 4-5 tonight. 5-2 the draw, 4-1 Burnley. You'd have to say with that home record, it'd be a surprise if Burnley were to beat them. And 4-5 probably isn't the most unattractive price in the world. But solid game today in the Premier League.
I'm guessing after the weekend as well, Simon, your own team will have shortened again.
I know, I must admit, last week I actually wavered. I was wavering like all the Arsenal fans, and I actually backed City for the title as an emotional hedge. I'm now feeling really silly because the weekend has just shifted it all back in Arsenal's favour again. You know, I mean, 2-11. Arsenal now nearly 1-6, 2-11. A brilliant performance against Leeds, sort of unexpected given they had been playing a bit nervily, and then to see Spurs, which we were debating on Friday, did Spurs fans even want to draw or beat City? Well, we just, I mean, like, you know, to see them come back, and I sort of took my eyes off the game at 2-0 down, thinking, cheers Spurs, no favours there. I mean, a fantastic comeback, and like City are now 9-2 for the title, 33 Villa. Never expected them to get beat, and so I'm hoping as an Arsenal fan that now it's going to be plain sailing for weeks to come. I suspect it won't be.
I think it probably will be, mate. What about odds for the top four? Because, you know, that's more interesting, isn't it? There are quite a few in contention.
Yeah. Oh, no, really good. I mean, at the moment, Liverpool will make 8-11 favourites for a top four spot. United even money and Chelsea 7-5, so sort of just a bit shy of 6-4. But there's only 2 points covering the three of them. I think you think Arsenal and City are almost certain to be in the top four. Villa are 1-3. They've got a little bit of a points break on those other three big sides. But it's a proper battle. And of course, I imagine, I haven't delved into it, but are we in the same situation as last year where actually a top five gets you in the Champions League?
Looks like it, yeah.
The way the British clubs are performing this year again, you sort of think they might get that fifth place. We'll have to have a look at a market on that as well, because as you get towards the end of the season, there's those Champions League spots which become crucial for those big sides.
Simon, thanks very much.
Have a good day,
Cheers,
Simon.
guys. Have a good day.
And that was a look at the latest odds with Coral 18 plus gambleaware.org. Colin in Liverpool says, morning, Jeff and Ali. Love listening as always. The initial stage of VAR takes too long. Was watching United yesterday and it was clear it wasn't a penalty from the first replay. Yet they watched at least 10 replays from different angles. Certainly takes too long, that's for sure. Yeah. And Greeno's been on and said, Jeff, come just have a little word to those Manchester United fans who've all suddenly appeared in my work office. Yes, you've won 3 games in a row, but you're not back. You're not going to win the league. Luke Shaw is not the best left-back in the world. Carrick is not the new Ferguson. It's even worse. I owe one of them £100, as I bet him Spurs would finish higher than United. Oh Greeno, bad day all around.
Tough one, Greeno.
Thanks very much indeed, Greeno. Coming up, we'll turn our attention to Newcastle United and the problems that continue to grow for Eddie Howe. That's next.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT with Coral. We're here for the fans this season. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
The only problem I have with him, he done it again on the weekend against Arsenal. He played a pass to Mbeumo, and he was at fault for a poor pass. And he's thrown his arms up at Mbeumo, and Mbeumo's actually giving him some back of like, come on, as a player, you don't like players throwing your arm.
Why is that wrong? That happens all the time.
But as a player, having played it at the game, anybody throws your arms up at you, you always have, you don't like it. Ask any players playing now, you don't like it. That's what he let himself down at. Garnacho copied him.
Don't compare Garnacho to Bruno Fernandes.
I'm saying he copied him, I'm not comparing him. I'm saying he copied. It's not a good example when you're throwing your arms up at your teammates. What he does on the pitch, his performances, outstanding.
That because he's from a different culture, from a different sort of upbringing, and
it's a Portuguese mentality,
demeanour. He has, if you look at Jose Mourinho and the way he conducts himself, it's different to the way that Michael Carrick conducts himself because they're brought up in different cultures. And if you're going to have the World League, which
who else do you see do it?
Loads of players do it. Go watch Spanish football.
In the Premier League.
Yeah, but that's the point, Sam. I spend a lot of time in Portugal, as you know, and they are that sort of mentality. They are an expressive population. So I think that's why it stands
does
out.
It quite a lot, doesn't he? He gets the arm,
but also just
up in the air.
Graham Souness is going back to a different world, really. I don't want to say prehistoric views, but they don't make captains now like they did in his day. I've got a list of Premier League captains here. I bet you can't tell me who the captain of Fulham and Manchester City is. You were looking at my screen.
I wasn't.
Tell me who the captain of Manchester City is officially.
Manchester City, is it Bernardo Silva?
Yeah, but is he? He's not an old school Roy Keane.
He's another one who's quite
John
demonstrative,
Terry
similar
captain.
sort of thing, which shows you that it might well be a Portuguese.
Who's the captain of Fulham?
Fulham is Kenny.
Yeah, but again,
another correct one.
You've been looking over my
screen.
screen.
I haven't looked at your screen.
But you get my point.
He's the club captain, isn't he?
Yeah, but if you look at Reece James.
fancied having a beer in the stands while watching your team at the Emirates, or at Anfield, or at Stamford Bridge? Well, this season you actually can. Drinking alcohol in the stands at Premier League games may still be illegal, but the Women's Super League is doing something different. And here's how we got there. Back in the 1980s, football had a serious image problem. The sport was plagued by violence, pitch invasions and beer-fuelled chaos. Then, in 1985, Margaret Thatcher's government stepped in. They introduced the Sporting Events Control of Alcohol Act, banning alcohol in view of the pitch across England and Wales. Since then, many fans and clubs have called for the law to be relaxed. But despite attempts to change things over the years, authorities just haven't been convinced fans can be trusted. But in January 2025, something did change. The Women's Championship, now called the WSL2, launched a trial allowing fans to drink in the stands. The reasoning? Well, fans at women's matches tend to behave differently. Less aggression, more family-friendly vibes. As a result, select WSL and WSL2 stadiums are now allowing fans to drink alcohol in view of the pitch. It's been a landmark move showing growing trust in fans and recognising that women's football is building its own culture. So could the men's game be the next to leave the 1980s behind? Well, maybe, if fans can prove they can handle a pint without pitching it at someone. Yeah, don't hold your breath. Until then, it's Bovril all around. Cheers to that.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark. Save on your next car in the real sale. It's the UK's biggest used car sale. I'm Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist is with us. Gary, who's a Spurs fan, says, Jeff, can we have a shout out for Luke Littler this morning? Absolutely. Brilliant final of World Masters. And he beat Luke Humphries 6-5, which showed a couple of things: that Luke Littler is just irresistible, but showed that Luke Humphries is no pushover for him in what was a fantastic final. Well done to Pete Graves, by the way, as well, new presenter of the darts on ITV. And
great lad, Pete.
Cracking job as well. Pete is a top boy.
Top lad.
Yeah, he'll do a brilliant job there. I know he will. Right, let's head to the phone line. City threw away a 2-goal lead against Spurs yesterday. How are City fans feeling about the season so far? Andrew is a Manchester City fan. Morning, Andrew.
Good morning, Andrew.
Morning, boys.
Yeah, so, I mean, how are you feeling about the season overall? Would you accept the title is probably gone?
I think that, we're not going to win. We're not going to win the title. I admit that, and obviously we are a team that's rebuilding from last season. But my only concern is how we just can't seem to see games out, and it's been a bit of a worry this year. As were the start of the season, we were going 2-0 up and then obviously letting teams back in it, and then doing what United did yesterday, going back on the front foot and getting 3 points. And it's just like it's not happening. I mean, we were 1-0 up against Chelsea, conceded in the 94th minute, 1-0 up against Brighton, draw 1-1. Then we go and then we win 2 cup games. You think, okay, we've got a bit of momentum. We've got back to that winning situation again. And then we lose to United in Bordeaux Glint. Then we go and beat, fair enough, we beat Wolves, which we should beat Wolves. No disrespect to Wolves, the bottom of the league. But that second half performance against Wolves, it was poor. And same again yesterday. I mean, then obviously then Galatasaray. We beat Galatasaray at home in the Champions League. Again, good side, played well. 2-0, 2 wins on the spin. And then we go 2-0 up at Tottenham, and no disrespect to Tottenham, they're great in the Champions League, but poor in the league. And we throw a 2-0, and we were comfortable. And then all of a sudden we throw a 2-0 lead away, and it's just not acceptable. I mean, it's 9 points. We've thrown away 9 points from winning positions, and we weren't doing that come the back end of last season. We were poor at the start of the season last year. Again, we finished strong, and this season it's just like we started off well, and everyone thinking, hey, if we can stay within a couple of points, we're behind Arsenal. Then thinking, well, if we can continue into the new year, then maybe we can win the league. It's just like every time we seem just to get a bit of momentum when Arsenal drop points, we're just throwing it away.
Andrew, thank you so much for your call.
Thanks Andrew.
Mate. Not too positive or optimistic, you'd have to say.
No.
And now Liverpool got their first Premier League win of 2026 at the 6th attempt as Newcastle fell apart.
Barnes, who helps it on to Gordon. Gordon steers it into the far corner, and Newcastle United lead.
This is a stadium that you don't want to ignite. We've kept them relatively quiet by a really strong start.
And Ekitike has found one. He's running down the left. He's poked it into the far corner, and Liverpool have turned it around.
Well, Eddie Howe's on his haunches, scratching his head there. He can't believe it.
Yeah, really disappointed with the manner of the 2 goals we conceded. That's been unlike us.
Drops it at the feet of Konate, who angles it back past the goalkeeper, and in it's 4-1 to Liverpool.
I always think you can believe and dream, and our wish today was to come here and perform really well and win the game, and I'm really disappointed we haven't. There's no excuse.
Eddie Howe disappointed after that 4-1 defeat at Anfield. Let's talk more about Newcastle and say good morning to the Daily Mail chief football reporter Craig Hope. Morning, Craig.
Morning, Craig. How you doing?
Morning, Jeff. Morning, Ali. Very good.
Look, well, Newcastle sit 10th at the moment. Even if the Champions League goes down to 5th place next season, they're 7 points off it. When does this become a crisis?
Not now, Jeff. You know, going into the Liverpool game, this might be hard to believe, but Newcastle were top of the 5-game Premier League form table, so it's not as bad as sometimes the noise on social media can make out. And yes, coming on the back of a 4-1 defeat at Liverpool, which didn't look good. But honestly, guys, for 35 minutes there, down at Anfield, Newcastle haven't won there since 1994 in the Premier League. But for the opening half hour, that was as good as I've seen them play there since. Eddie Howe was right. They did quieten the crowd. They were on the front foot. They did take a deserved lead. They then lost their minds and lost control during 2 or 3 minutes before half-time. And from that point on, Anfield was ignited. It was up, and they weren't really getting back into it. And the strange thing was we had this transfer saga of the summer with Alexander Isak, and it almost played out in real time around Eddie Howe on Saturday night. He had the 2 strikers he tried to sign to replace Isak, sat behind him on the bench, Nick Voltemade and Johan Wissa, who he chose not to play, put Anthony Gordon through the middle. He had Alexander Isak sat behind him injured in the next dugout along, and the player he really wanted, Hugo Ekitike, who he's tried to sign twice, was the player actually on the pitch who scored the goals to change the game. So you used the word crisis, Jeff, nowhere near there yet, to answer your question.
I'm actually in total agreement with you, Craig. I watched extended highlights of that game, and I thought Newcastle did particularly well, and they're actually 4 minutes away. I know it's all ifs and buts, but they're 4 minutes away from getting in. Harvey Barnes also hit the post with that the touch from the free kick. I thought they played really, really well. However, I'd written down, you know, the interesting line-up with no Visa, no Voltemade playing Gordon through the middle. But the one thing I don't think anybody can get away from, they look a different side without particularly Guimaraes, and I know Joe Linton as well.
Yeah, they do. In this stat now with Bruno Guimaraes, Ali, it extends, 13 games since he made his full debut, where he hasn't been involved. And how many wins have they picked up during those 13 matches? 0. And it's hard to quantify, really, quite what he brings, because you can look at actually technical attributes as a footballer. Is he particularly quick? Well, no, Not really. Is he a dribbler who weaves by players? Not at all. He's got this futsal upbringing, so sometimes it looks like he shovels the ball, doesn't have the cleanest technique. But what you cannot quantify is this force of nature, this force of personality. Call it magic, if you like, a determination, a desire. And when he's in the team, Newcastle have got that. He's a magic man. He's got that leading man syndrome who can drag a team to victory. And without him, they just can't find a way to do that. So without his sidekick alongside him, Joe Linton, who, when you've got a 1-0 lead at Anfield, a player like Joe Linton would be invaluable. You're absolutely right to highlight their absence as perhaps a reason why that lead did get away from them.
Yeah, and I completely agree with that. I mean, Bruno Guimaraes has just been a sensational signing for Newcastle United. But if you look at like a lot of clubs, got a lot of injury issues, seemingly incapable of going to the transfer market during the course of this window. 5 of the next 6 games, Craig, are on the road. And it's Newcastle's away form that for some reason has been a massive issue this season.
Yeah, Jeff, you say it's 5 of the next 6. We're actually in the run of a midst of 7 from 8 away from home. And given they can't win away, that is a real problem. Now, you touched there, they won't go to the transfer market. And I don't really quite understand this. And we asked Eddie Howe post-match at Anfield, is there a chance in the next 48 hours of a player coming in? And he seemed quite sullen and quite down when he gave a one-word answer. No, the manager's on the record. It's saying that every window you need a player to come in just to keep it fresh. And Ali, you've played the game. You know, sometimes it's not about what that player himself can bring. It's what it does to others. I remember you and I laughing about the arrival of Terry Hurd up at Rangers, and you said training went up a notch because everyone started kicking each other. That's what Newcastle need, just a fresh face. Yes, to help out on the field. They had 2 injured players on the bench on Saturday night. It's more just what it does for momentum and energy and freshness and feel good. And they're talking, and this is what I don't get, they're talking about protecting summer budgets. I'll tell you the best way to protect a summer budget. It's to bring in a player now who helps you finish in the top 5 and get back in the Champions League. That's the way you give yourself a healthier pot of cash in the summer, not by holding it back in the hope that this lot can limp through and get back into the top 5.
You mentioned momentum, Craig. Couple of clubs that have certainly got momentum. Chelsea would be one in terms of the results that are picking up, but also I'm led to believe you're at Old Trafford yesterday. I mean, there must be a feel-good factor around that place, because they've had 2 fantastic results and they managed to find a way to win a game with momentum.
Absolutely. I'm sat there in Old Trafford yesterday, Ali. I'm writing phrases like only 12 points off top now. Never did I think I'd write that about Manchester United this season. And you are looking up rather than down. That victory took them up into 4th. And I think now, if you look at their situation, especially without European football, they're just going Saturday to Saturday right now. It would be a disappointment if they didn't return themselves to the Champions League. Tell you what, if they do, it'll be difficult not to give Michael Carrick and Steve Holland the job there. And even though Kevin scores the equaliser in the 91st minute, and you know 9's gone up on the board, there is just that feel of inevitability that Manchester United are going to go up their end and score. Now, I was at Old Trafford earlier in the season. There wasn't that feel. There was almost a toxicity at times, a nervousness of waiting for the team to lose rather than waiting for the team to win. Yesterday felt entirely different, and yeah, credit Michael Carrick, my fellow Geordie. What a job he's done in those 3 matches.
He has. Craig, thanks a lot, mate.
Have a good day, mate.
Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.
Andy sort of agrees in some respects with Craig there about transfers, at least. With Newcastle struggles 2 games a week, I can't understand why they're showing no interest whatsoever in getting new recruits. Are the owners thinking about the summer for possibly a new manager? Are they still backing Eddie Howe? It doesn't look that way to me. Well, look, we all know about PSR and all of this stuff, but, you know, Eddie, as Craig just said in the press conference after the game at Liverpool, seemed sullen when he said, you know, asked about the prospects of new recruits, and he said no, there aren't any. Not an ideal situation if you're a manager and your squad is being stretched by so many games. Still to come on breakfast.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Benchmarks Kitchens and Joinery. Get trade prices on kitchens to suit all styles and budgets at Benchmarks.
At 9, you'll hear in full from a deeply aggrieved Rodri. He wasn't happy about the refereeing in North London.
I don't know how to feel, honestly. Now I see the images in the pitch of goal. You cannot see. There's a clear foul in the first action of the goal. It's a clear foul.
Oh, Rodri criticising the referee. Take a look at Rodri. Take a look at some of your clear fouls during the course of that game and ask yourself how you were still on the pitch at the end of it.
I'm guessing the old Rodri fella doesn't do irony, does he?
Seriously. Up next, though, we're joined by Watford legend Troy Deeney as another departure as a Watford manager is announced. And that was our breakfast preview with Travis Perkins Hire.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. With 250 hire branches nationwide, it's easy to hire at Travis Perkins.
I've got to say, though, I mean, I am with Dino on this one, really, as opposed to yourself, Jay. But I think Thomas Frank should be given Tom. I think the trouble is, you see, it's too easy to sort of say, oh, we're not doing well, sack the manager, right? He's only been in the job 6 months. Let's be frank here, right? I'm going to spell it out for the other fans, right? They're listening to your glorious channel, right? We finished 17th in the league. He has not taken over a team that finished in the top 4. We qualified the Champions League because we won that trophy.
Yeah, we won the Europa League and we had a load of injuries and we sacked off the Premier League at the end of last season. So, yeah, I know we finished 17th and it wasn't good enough. I get that. But there needed to be a massive improvement. With the players that we've got, we shouldn't be where we are in the table. You can't... The performances, Chris, are not acceptable in the Premier League. That's your bread and butter. And look, we're a great side in the Champions League and we're a joy to watch. But that's got to go into the Premier League performances.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the thing is, look, we should have done better against Burnley. There's no question about that. But I do think as well, again, this is where with Dino in this one, right? The thing is, I don't think it's all Thomas Frank's fault, right? We need, right? And the thing is, look, you know, this is a hangover from the old boardroom that were there, right? We did not push the boat out enough for signings, right? I mean, we've got a lot of average players in that team, right? I mean, apart from Van der Ven, Porro, and maybe Kulusevski,
Romero.
They are bang average. Romero as well. They're bang average players, Jay.
Kulusevski ain't.
Kulusevski, I think he's a great player.
Xavi Simons is starting to show some signs of being a top player.
Is Richarlison injured?
Richarlison's injured. Solanke's come back. Solanke, again, jury's out for me on him, but he's a good player. When we signed him, I was happy that we signed him.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast. It's 9 minutes away from 9 o'clock. I'm Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist is with me. Transfer deadline day here once again. 7 p.m. is when it shut. Let's get an update now with Ben Jacobs. Morning again, Ben.
Well, let's start with a talkSPORT exclusive, and that's that Brian Gruder is going to be joining RB Leipzig on loan on deadline day. It's driven by the player's desire to go and get more game time for Germany ahead of the 2026 World Cup. So we're expecting that one to be finalised in the next few hours. Angel Gomez is doing his Wolves medical ahead of a loan move with an option to buy. And Axel Disasi is in talks with West Ham United. This one is expected to be a loan if it goes through, even though a bit earlier in the window, Chelsea were only considering a permanent exit. AC Milan are no longer in the race for the Chelsea defender. Keep an eye on Arsenal today. They might be busy. Mikel Merino getting injured with that broken foot. No guarantee anyone arrives, but Arsenal are looking for some late window business.
Ben, thank you very much indeed. Transfer deadline to today. And of course, you need to go nowhere else for all the breaking news. Vince doesn't agree with Craig Hope's assessment of what happened at Old Trafford. He said, what a load of rubbish. Only one team looked like they would win at Old Trafford and they weren't wearing red. Proud of Fulham. Vince, you know what? When it went 2-2, I tend to agree with you. Fulham looked like the side who were going to go on and win it after that brilliant goal from Kevin.
Great goal.
Oh, what a goal. Right, death, taxes and Watford changing their manager multiple times a season is the old adage. This time it's not a sacking. Javi Gracia resigning at the Hertfordshire club. Watford made an announcement saying the club is sad and disappointed to confirm his resignation. We retain the belief Javi was the right man to lead the club towards its push for promotion. Javi felt he no longer had the motivation and was not the right man to continue coaching this exciting group of young players. Now, why am I sceptical about that? Because I don't see Javi Gracia going to the club and saying, look, I'm not the right man to continue coaching this exciting group of young players. However, joining us for more right now, the former Watford captain, Troy Deeney. Morning, Troy.
Morning, Troy.
Good morning, legends. Are you being very cynical this morning?
Oh, yeah, well, a bit cynical.
Monday morning, Troy.
Yeah.
We do cynicism very well on a Monday morning, mate, Jeff and I.
So, okay, from a non-cynical Troy Deeney then, what did you make of Javi Gracia stepping down?
I'll make you right, mate. That's the problem. No, look, I do think it's starting to get a little bit like the English weather. I would like it to be not rainy, but it is always rainy. I'm starting to get used to it now. So, when Watford sack somebody, I'm like, again, this one was a little bit strange. He's walked away. It feels to me a little bit different. Maybe there was a bit of a disconnect in regards to, I don't know, maybe transfers or how he sees the team going. But I do have to push back on the club, and I love the club to death, but this exciting young group that we've apparently got, it's been the same message for 5 years now. At any point do they get older and start delivering or not?
Troy, tell me, mate, see as a player, right, how difficult is it when there's no real, let's be honest about it, and it's been for years and years, there's not been any consistency with a stability within the club, really, has there? So, I don't care when they say, surely that must transfer into the dressing room as well. You must feel it.
Well, you do. The only thing is, when I was there, I was the consistent. So we're talking 13 years I'd been there, Ali. Yeah. So, I was that one that was able to be, don't worry, this happens, and we kind of move on to the next thing. I think the problem I've got now is when I look there, I don't see the talent that they keep talking about. I don't see this wonderful talent. I think there's some talented players with profile, but do they do it consistently? No. Have they shown us yet for a whole course of a season? No. And the old boys there, they've been trying to get rid of for 3 years. So how are you supposed to buy into it? For me now, it's very frustrating when you keep seeing the same rinse repeat cycle, and they keep trying to tell you, don't worry what your eyes are telling you, listen to us, we've seen it enough now. And it's frustrating, but Javi has gone in, did well, and then walked off. And if he's walked away from it after just coming in, and I did the interview with him to see how excited he was about it, lads, and now to see him walk away 3 months away, I would say he's probably right in this situation.
Well, look, I mean, he said on Thursday, before the weekend's game, that the team was struggling. He again, on after the weekend, he spoke about the team and how disappointed he was with the standards, the levels. He has repeatedly called for signings. I mean, that's why he's gone, isn't it, Troy? That he feels he has not been backed.
Yeah, again, reading between the lines, you'd have to say that. Yeah, I think it's also difficult as well. The team he left was our team that got to the FA Cup final. So that's the standard he's expecting. He doesn't have that now. And they're not going to spend that level of money that they did, because obviously we'd been in the Premier League for 5 years at that point. So the money's completely different. I just don't know what they want to achieve. And you know, I'm in this role that we have now, and Ali could attest to this. We're critical of other teams, but with that, you have to be just as critical with your own teams. And why now does this team keep falling short, keep changing managers, keep going in the same cycle, but we're expected to say something different? I don't get it. I don't know what they want to do. They keep talking about promotion and playoffs, but never put any money towards it to actually go and make a statement of intent. So, unfortunately, at this moment in time, I feel sorry for every Watford fan. I really do.
So is that what you're telling us, effectively, Troy? For it to change, there has to be a complete rethink from upstairs and a change of direction.
It's hard, Ali, because it worked for a long time, but it hasn't worked now for long enough that you have to say, okay, what are we doing wrong here? But we're doing the same pattern. They're going from, I don't know, an English manager in Tom Cleverley, then they'll go to an experienced, I don't know, foreign manager, then they'll go to somebody who's a player's manager because the players don't like the discipline, and then they go in the same triangle every single time. And again, when you just look at the players that they're bringing in, yes, they may be talented, and you know this better than me, a manager's only as good as his players. And if you've got a talented group that are inconsistent, and then your performances are inconsistent, how's the manager supposed to change that if he's got no leaders in there, if he's got no consistency? And what's that now, 24, 25 managers in Gino's time?
Yeah.
I think you have to look. Yeah, and I had 18 of them, and I've been gone 5 years.
Troy, you know what they need at Watford, don't you? They need a club legend as manager.
Go on, Troy, do it, son.
Luther Blissett's available, I've heard. Yeah. Maybe they can get Barnsley back. I don't know.
Go on. Why would you throw your hat in the ring? Go on.
Oh, guys, you know me well enough. Do you think I'm going to be able to keep my mouth shut long enough with what goes on there? I would, again, in all seriousness, I would go there in a heartbeat. Similarly to Ali going back to Rangers, we'd go there just for the love of the club.
I tell you what I'd love, big fella. Straight away, I'd love a fly in the wall documentary. You can back here. That would do me, mate. That would do me.
Yeah. I think we do some good numbers on social. I don't know about that.
Hey, Troy, great to speak to you.
Great to see you, mate. I'm not seeing you for ages.
I've got a flight to catch anyway. Look after yourself.
Good lad. You enjoy it over there.
See you, Paul.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Troy Deeney.
Brilliant.
Absolutely brilliant. I tell you, I mean...
I'm with you.
Such a daft idea, is it? You know, they need some discipline. They need a figurehead. They need somebody who is, you know, does have the respect of everybody at the club. I give you Troy Deeney. Doesn't sound like he's that interested.
It doesn't, to be fair.
Yeah.
He kind of shot us down a wee bit here, didn't
he did. He said, I've got a flight to catch. Yeah. Coming up, Man City suffered another poor result against Spurs yesterday, but according to Pep and Rodri, it's all the refs' fault. We'll give them a reality check next.
I'm doing this gig up a ski slope, end of season in Austria, and I'm with my dad, and we're travelling down to the gondola. It's a big gig, but we'll get up there in a gondola, and my security goes, Maradona's here, and he wants to say hello to you. I'm like, Maradona in Austria? I'm like, yeah, get out of the car, and there's Maradona. And like, you know, I don't speak Spanish. And, you know, but we're very happy to see each other, and we have our pictures taken together, and we go up in the gondola, and my dad's like, what's your life like, son? I go, it's amazing, isn't it? People like Maradona want to come and see me, And then 2 days later, I'm looking at the news on the Mac, and Maradona is at the Chelsea game. And that Maradona hasn't got a beard at the Chelsea game. That wasn't Maradona that I met.
No, it was.
It was an imposter.
What, claiming to be Maradona?
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. You ever been scammed like that?
Not like that. Maradona coming.
Didn't you scam someone though, didn't you?
What was that? What
it was
scammed a lot of people, mate. Which one?
You scammed someone to get in a club, didn't you? Saying that we thought you was a monster.
Oh no, that was the guy that was the lead singer. Oh my God, you've thrown me now. His name. What was the band? Oh my God, Brother Beyond. And his name was... Can't remember it.
No.
But anyway, I got in there, and then I'm in the club, and he thinks I'm the lead singer. Nathan Moore, right? Nathan Moore. And he thinks I'm the lead singer from Brother Beyond.
Yeah.
And
Corinthian Casuals are a team in the Combined Counties League Premier Division South. Despite that, they're one of the most important clubs in world football. Here's why. The club was formed in 1939 as the result of a merger between Corinthians FC and Casuals FC. Now, Corinthians FC were founded in the late 1800s when the FA's top brass were sick of getting pumped by Scotland every time they played them. As a result, a man called Nicholas Lane Jackson set up an amateur side which would bring in the best players who could all play for the national side. And it worked. It wasn't long before England were dominating the international fixtures they played, and it was largely down to Corinthians. In fact, in 1894 and 1895, they played consecutive games where Corinthians provided the entire England 11. But the thing is, the players refused to play professional football. They didn't believe in it. They wanted to spread the values of sportsmanship, competition, and played for the love of the game. It also helped that most of the players were Oxbridge graduates who didn't need the money. But instead of entering the league and cup competitions, they played exhibition football and toured the world, bringing the beautiful game with them. And it was this which spread the game throughout the world and made it so popular. Most famously, in 1910, they travelled to Brazil. And the locals in Sao Paulo were so impressed, they started their own team under the same name. Yes, the same Corinthians who won the FIFA Club World Cup in 2021, one of the biggest football teams in Brazil. Now, they were global superstars, and despite not being professional, Corinthians drew in the crowds. Everybody wanted to play them, everybody wanted to watch them. So much so, they regularly played the winners of the FA Cup in what eventually became the Community Shield, winning most of the time. They actually inflicted Manchester United's worst defeat, 11-3, a record which still stands to this day. Now, fast forward to today, Corinthian Casuals still don't pay their staff or players. The ethos of sportsmanship is still at the heart of everything that they do. And even though they're a side in the lower leagues, if you make the trip to King George's Field in Tolworth just off the A3, you'll most likely bump into Brazilian Corinthians fans who often make the pilgrimage across the globe just to watch their founding team play.
Good morning. 6 minutes past 9 o'clock. It's a Monday morning, February the 2nd. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling, Ally McCoist and Arnold Clark's real sale. It's your last chance to save big on your next car because the sale ends on the 16th of February. Still to come before 10, Gabriel Bonlahor was at Villa Park for talkSPORT yesterday. He'll join us at 9:30. Does he feel more positive this morning than he did at 4 o'clock on Sunday afternoon?
I think it's been nice for Villa fans. It's been nice for the manager, title challenge. But let's be honest, today
must end now, mustn't it?
I think it should do.
More on the Villa shortly. We'll also talk tennis with Liam Brodie. Carlos Alcaraz becoming the youngest man ever to win a career Grand Slam. Novak Djokovic, brilliant, by the way, out in Australia.
Magnificent.
As well. Wasn't he just...
I watched it, mate. I mean, the opening set... It was just a throwback, wasn't it? It was absolutely phenomenal. And then you could see the wee fella Alcaraz. He looked... It was as if he was sucking the energy. What Djokovic used to do to everybody else, Jeff. You know, just watching it, he just drained the energy from him, and he ran out a deserved winner. But some of the quality, some of the rallies, man. And do you know what I felt watching it, Jeff? The longer the rally went, you fancied Alcaraz to win the point, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, it was always going to be a big ask for Djokovic to go to the well again, wasn't it,
Incredible.
after his semi-final against Sinner.
Incredible.
Right, back to football now. City lost ground on Arsenal in the title race at the weekend, but were the officials to blame for that?
The biggest roar we've had all afternoon because it's Tottenham 1, Manchester City 2. Dominic Solanke has been credited with the goal, but I think it's gone in off Mark Gahey. The ball was scooped forward down the left-hand side. Solanke, well, did he manage to keep himself onside? Was Ryan Aït-Nouri playing him onside? That's the question the VAR will be asking. But as Solanke tries to steer the ball goalwards, I think it flicks off the leg of Mark Gahey, and it ends up as an own goal.
Well, it doesn't flick off his leg. Solanke kicks the back of his leg, which pushes it into the net. So does he, therefore, if that was the other way round, would that not be a penalty?
The goal's given.
Well, Pep Guardiola was seething by that goal, simply replying once again when asked by TV for his take on that potential foul on Gahey. Midfielder Rodri was equally annoyed.
I don't know how to feel, honestly. Now I see the images in the pitch, of course you cannot see. There's a clear foul in the first action of the goal. It's a clear foul. And VAR is for a reason. It's one game and another game and another game. And it's not possible. And honestly, I never speak about referees. I respect their job massively. But they have to pay attention to these things. He kicked the leg, is so clear. 2-3 games in a row. And I don't know why, honestly. The referee has to be neutral. And for me, honestly, it's not fair. It's not fair because we work so hard. You are frustrated because it's so clear, the foul. And I'm not saying the level of the referees here is bad. It's great. But we have to pay attention. It's not my aim to talk to them. But at the end, in the years before, it's not my responsibility. Now I'm the captain. I want to say it today. We feel a bit upset with this.
Look, Ross the Motherwell fan has texted a little bit cruelly, but says, I might be wrong, but I'm sure it was that sausage Rodri that complained about the length of the grass at Hampden when Mighty Scotland pumped Spain 3-2.
He's right.
Do you think, though, in truth, that Rodri he's more frustrated by the level of City's performance than he is by officials?
Well, he has to be, you know, and he'll probably, you know, something. He's just a phenomenal player, Jeff. Absolutely fantastic player. And you know, there's no getting away from it. And he's not firing on all cylinders yet, coming back for, as you correctly say, a very, very serious injury. And he will get back to fitness. You see signs of it. He's still not there yet. So with that comes frustration, right? There's no getting away from it because you want to be at the level that you know you can be. So you start looking at other things, and other things that generally wouldn't really get to you start annoying you, wee things. Now, he might have a point with Solanke maybe touching Gahey at the back. But I've watched it. I reckon I've watched it, but no joke, Jeff. I've sat and watched that about 30 times this morning, right? Now, the goal itself, it does really well with Kusanov, shrugs him off, great physical strength. Now, he sticks his leg through Gahey's leg. He probably, you can't tell from the angle when you're looking at it. What you can tell is he does make contact with the ball, right? ever so slight contact with the ball, then it goes on to Gahey's foot and goes into the back of the net. Jeff, I'm giving a goal all day, right? I think probably the vast majority of goal scorers would give a goal all day. But the problem isn't that. The problem's not that decision not going Manchester City's way. The problem is Manchester City collapsing the way they did in the second half. I mean, and for Rodri to talk about refereeing decisions, the referee would have been well within his rights to give him a second yellow card. He failed to mention that.
Yeah, he didn't. I get that completely. Look, City were way below their best. And it made me think, we both think that Arsenal are going to go on and win the league now.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, if you're a Manchester United supporter or anybody involved in the club, are you looking now at the possibility of not just Champions League, but maybe actually reeling back in Manchester City and Aston Villa and possibly looking at a higher finish than fourth?
Of course you should be. Absolutely, that should be a target. Do I think it would happen? Crikey, I mean, I don't, but it's not as confident I know as it would have been 2 weeks ago. I can tell you that. I don't think they'll finish second. I mean, I don't think there's too many, yourself excluded, that thought they'd be finishing in the top four. So the remarkable turnaround they've had in momentum with Carrick coming to the club has been fantastic. I mean, they've beaten top sides and they've won games, i.e. yesterday, that they wouldn't have won 3 weeks ago. Simple as that. Yeah. So there's a great momentum with them. Should they be setting their targets as high as possible? Yes, of course they should, and they will be. And you know something? Second place, looking at things around them now, would not be the most ridiculous statement to make. I still don't think they'll do it, Jeff, but it would definitely be something that he should be setting his targets to doing, because the turnaround there is great, but they need, I know they've won 3 games, but they need to find a stronger level of consistency, which at this moment in time, Villa and obviously City don't have. Yeah. Arsenal do. And I know they get beat by United, but they still have a far greater consistency.
Darren said, I can't be hearing City moan with what they got away with. Rodri should have had 3 yellows. Yeah, I mean, and again, that would potentially have been a game changer. Greeno's been back on as well. So Jeff, don't stop. He said, don't you start getting on that Manchester United bus too. Greeno, I'm sorry, but I said at the start of the season, I thought that Manchester United would finish top 4. And I'll be honest with you, I've never had a moment's doubt. I just want to mention one team we haven't touched on really this morning. We haven't got much time. But Brentford, with 10 men, winning at Villa. We know there was the controversy over the disallowed goal. But what a win that was for Brentford. Keith Andrews' side just continues week after week after week to surprise everyone. And I'll tell you what, European football for them next season is a real possibility. And how fantastic would that be? And we were all sceptics when Keith was appointed, by the way, as well.
Yeah, doing a fantastic job. Congratulations. Sit about 7th just now, so you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
That would be a realistic, not a realistic target, but also an unbelievable achievement, I think. It'd be fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got a real togetherness, camaraderie, team spirit about them. That is for sure, and it's carrying them a long way. And
that was a great finish as well, just for the record, wasn't it?
Great finish, wasn't it? Yeah, great finish. And when I say about the camaraderie, that's not underestimating the skill levels they've got there as well. Coming up, we'll bring you the very latest on deadline day and some managerial news. Slaven Bilic looks like he might be getting back into the dugout. Find out where next.
seem like a different team. You know, Fernandes is picking the ball up in areas he wants to, and it looks like he's controlling that midfield. You know, you've got Mainu who's come back into it. He's really, you know, amazing performances really when he hasn't played in the Premier League since probably May, isn't it? Something like that. So, you know, certain players have come back in, Ben, and you know, it looks like they've been let off the leash. And some of the goals against Man United, against Arsenal, Cunha's goal was a fantastic winner, but even the second and first goal, Burmo took it so well.
Yeah, I think United have had these players. They've had players that are verging on the edge of world class. They've had them for the last couple of seasons, but they just haven't been able to show it. They haven't been able to go out there and express themselves and play with a smile on the face. I know this system. We all know this system didn't really suit Man United with three at the back, and it wasn't rocket science to change it to four. It really wasn't. So I think everybody is on board with this kind of confidence, and now everybody. But you look at the fixtures they've got as well: Spurs, West Ham, Everton, Palace. The next 4 games. That guy, the one who hasn't cut his hair for a while, the United Strand guy.
Strand, yeah.
I'm thinking that he doesn't want these to be wins, you know. I'm thinking, like, what's he going to do for content afterwards? So, they've got a massive chance now. They win these 4 games, they're absolutely flying.
Yeah, I mean, they have been just a breath of fresh air recently, and last week, Ben, was a bit of a free hit. There was no real pressure on Manchester.
Good morning, talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist is with me this morning, 9:19, Monday, February the 2nd. You know what Monday, February the 2nd is? It is transfer deadline day. Joining us now to bring us the very latest is talkSPORT reporter Anil Kandala. Morning, Anil.
Very good morning, Jeff. Always a very fun day, isn't it? And plenty for us to go off today.
Fun. That's one word you could use about it. So, look, it's early in the morning. What's happening? What's moving?
Yeah, of course. I think the big move today, of course, would be Jeremy Jacquet's some move to Liverpool. Like I said, that's the big story. The medical's set today for a 55 plus £5 million fee, 5-year contract with the extra year extension. Of course, one thing to consider is Konate's contract at Liverpool will expire in the summer. So I think they see this as quite a seamless transition. Of course, Konate's been such a pivotal part of Liverpool's recent success over the last few years. So Jacquet, big boots to fill, but big potential as well. So I think they'll be very excited to get him through the door.
But it's potential, isn't it? And that's the worry, I think, from a Liverpool perspective. There's a lot of money to pay for a 20-year-old without an international cap, without a full international cap anyway. It's played less than 30 games for Rennes.
Yeah, of course. And as you've said there, you know, it is a risk, of course. Like you said, the lack of experience going into a really strange time, if you like, for Liverpool, of course, off the back of winning the Premier League last season. Hasn't quite gone their way with the additions that they made in the summer. But I think this might be a good time for him. Everyone's in the understanding that it is a bit of a transitional period for Liverpool at the moment. So I think he'll come in, slot in nicely, and of course have a bit of experience next to someone like Virgil van Dijk. Will never go amiss, will it?
Yeah. What's happening with Palace at the moment? Because we're looking at, aren't we, one out and one in. But has anything happened yet?
Yeah, well, in regards to Jean-Philippe Mateta, I think this is really where it will begin in terms of the domino effect, if you like. The medical test was this morning. Milan are having extra tests, if you like, just to be safe and make sure everything's all okay. So we're awaiting confirmation on a €30 million move, which equates to about £26 million. And then Palace are set to go full steam ahead with Jurgen Strand Larson for a £48 million move. An incredible fee. I understand Wolves are in a bit of a difficult position, but everyone's got a price at the end of the day, haven't they? So I think this one will be making every party happy.
Look, we tease people. Slaven Bilic in a new job. Where is he?
Yeah, so he is a serious contender, we understand here, with a talkSPORT exclusive to replace Valérien Ismaël at Blackburn Rovers. Yes, so Ismaël, of course, is fighting to save his job. I think it's a winless run of 9 games now, currently in the relegation zone, 3 points from safety. So I think the acquisition of someone like Bilic will be very welcomed in a difficult time for the Rovers.
Absolutely. Anil, thanks very much indeed. For now, I know it's going to be a really busy day for you. To say the least. Yeah. Hey, Coisty, just briefly, there's a rerun of Dundee United against Hearts on the TV at the moment on Sky, which we haven't touched on it at all. They walloped Dundee United. 6 points clear at the top of both Rangers and Celtic. Rangers held by Hibs. They're going to do it, aren't they?
Well, it's a great weekend for Hearts. Not getting away from it. That is a terrific result. You look at, you know what you're saying, Jeff, about likes of Arsenal making a statement victory at Elland Road. I thought that was a real, you know, a show of intention, a show of intent from Hearts at the weekend, going up to Tannadice. It can be a difficult place to go when, I know they were down to 10 men, but they're really comfortable, good quality of goal, solid performance. That is a result that if ever there was any doubt anywhere that they were going to go away, they are not going away. Rangers against Hibs was probably just about a fair result. I don't think either team probably did enough to win the game. Rangers got a goal disallowed offside, probably just about correct. But Celtic had a tricky game against Falkirk. I've been singing John McGunn and Falkirk's praises, I think, with some justification. Celtic, I think, are kind of comfortable, if not routine. But I mean, Falkirk played well, 2-0 victory. But Hearts, that's the story. Again, Jeff, at the weekend, great result, mate.
Yeah, away to St Mirren, Love Street next, I think. So they just keep rolling on at the moment. Let's move on to tennis. Carlos Alcaraz made history yesterday, became the youngest ever men's tennis player to complete the career Grand Slam, beating Novak Djokovic in the Australian Open final. For more on that, I'm pleased to say we're joined by British tennis star Liam Brodie. Morning, Liam.
Good morning, Liam.
Hey, fellas, how we doing?
Oh,
Very well,
we're
thanks,
good,
mate.
But I mean, Alcaraz, look, youngest to win all 4 Grand Slams. He's not 23 yet. He is relentless, isn't he?
Yeah, I'm starting to run out of ways to describe him. For a few years now, I've kind of been loath to start to include himself and Sinner in that sort of GOAT conversation. But at 22 years old, a career slam and 7 slams to his name, it's starting to look like, you know, he's going to start catching Federer and Nadal and Djokovic's records pretty early on in his career.
Liam, here's a question for you. You're right, and it's probably far too early to start making comparisons and what he can achieve. But my question to you would be this. Would there be a realistic opportunity for him to take the record, obviously, of Grand Slam titles, perhaps due to the fact around, you know, you look at Nadal, Djokovic, Murray and Federer, they were all capable of beating each other, and it looks, and you tell me I'm wrong, at this moment in time, as Sinner might be his real strength, you know, strong opposition, if you like.
Yeah, I completely agree. And it was an interesting one. I was watching a podcast the other day. Milos Raonic, you know, who's a great player in his own right, was saying the benefit that they had when they were in the era of, you know, Nadal, Federer, Djokovic, and Andy and Wawrinka was they always said, you know, these guys are 5 years older than us. We're going to have our time. You know, time's going to run out for them. Yeah. In hindsight, it never really did. Obviously, Novak's still probably the 3rd best player on the planet at 38, 39 years old. But they could always tell themselves that. Whereas he made a fantastic point. He said the guys on tour now, they're all 5 years older. So it's only going to get more difficult. Alcaraz and Sinner are probably 5 or 6 years off their peak, and they're already multiple slam winners.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing to think, when Novak Djokovic made his Australian Open debut, it was 21 years ago, and Alcaraz was still in nappies at that time. So his performance, I know he didn't win it, but his performance in the Australian Open, taking down Sinner and then putting up a really decent display in the final as well. He'll be disappointed not to have won, of course he will, but he must take encouragement from it.
Yeah, I think, obviously there'll be a lot of noise around him. I think he'll be used to that now. He is, by the stats, the greatest tennis player of all time. So he knows how to deal with that stuff. I think there's a lot of people that have been questioning for quite a few years, will he win another one? I'm convinced in the back of his mind, he's thinking, if I can just get one more or, one or two more, take one off those guys, a little two slam swing, maybe it'll push them just beyond him. I was looking yesterday, Alcaraz is, 22 years old now. He's on 7 slams. I think he still needs to average about, 1.5 slams a year for the next 10 years. The longevity is, it's Messi, Ronaldo-esque of what, Novak, Rafa and Roger did. But yeah, I think Novak can hold his head high. He was obviously very emotional after the semi-final. It's just so difficult for him now. He has to, to win a slam, he has to beat Sinner and Alcaraz back-to-back effectively.
Leo, tell me, I'm watching the game yesterday. I'm loving the game. Now, I'm trying to put myself in the head of Djokovic, because when I'm watching that game, and probably an age thing does come into it, I'm thinking to myself, the longer the rally goes, Alcaraz, in my mind, I don't know if it's in anybody else's mind, but in my mind, he becomes a stronger favourite to win the point. Was that a case, or have I got it wrong?
No, I think you're completely right, mate. I think it was definitely as the match progressed as well, wasn't it? As you watched, you could almost feel that the longer the point went, Alcaraz won almost every one, whereas Novak's made a career of being this indomitable, unbeatable player in the longer rallies that you can't hit through. And it almost felt like yesterday that was Alcaraz's role. You saw Novak sort of from the second set onwards becoming more and more aggressive, and I love to see that. I mean, he is, he's in the twilight of his career now, sadly. You have to be realistic with that, but he is now at his most experienced. He is able to navigate his way through matches purely on that experience, like he did against Sinner, and he very nearly started to against Alcaraz, but now he's playing these young, brash, strong, fearless players such as Alcaraz that also have the physicality on the side. He very nearly found that balance yesterday. He was being far more aggressive than I think I've ever seen him. I saw a statistic that he was taking his forehand down the line 55% of the time in the Australian Open, which is almost unheard of. And he was coming to the net, and even the match point, he missed that mid-court forehand that perhaps usually he wouldn't go as big and as risky on, but he knows he has to do that now.
Liam, just very briefly, we talk about veterans. Neil Skupski's 36, and he won the doubles with Christian Harrison. I mean, and he's almost completely disregarded, isn't it, these days, the doubles, but it's a terrific performance.
Yeah, you're right. I think in the doubles, the guys do tend to go a little bit longer, but, there's something in the water in Liverpool. They're producing a few athletes at the moment. But no, the British doubles is doing fantastically well at the moment, especially on the men's side. We've got the world number ones in Lloyd Glasspool and Julian Cash. We've got Neil with his new partner, Christian, who, as you said, just won the Australian Open, which is a pretty amazing first slam to play together. And then my good friend Luke Johnson was in the other semi-final as well. So I think the doubles as a whole, especially for the British men, is doing fantastically well.
Liam, great to talk to you.
Great to talk to you, mate. Thanks for your time.
Cheers, lads.
Thanks, mate. Hey, Coisty, me and you in the men's doubles, eh? Who'd have the shortest reach at the net?
I think you and I might both be susceptible to the lob, Jeff.
And I'll tell you what, by the way, mate, if we were to win, I'm not jumping that net at the end.
No, you'd need to find a way through it, mate.
Can you still go underneath? Brilliant. Coming up, we're joined by a man who is reportedly ready to officially announce Villa's title charge is over. Gabby is with us next.
Dreams can come true, and Marie, we're with you. Know you gotta spend money. I know you gotta catch Arsenal.
Looking at the points, they're on the same points as Crystal Palace. They're 2 in front of Leeds. They're 3 in front of Forest. They're 8 ahead of West Ham. They haven't won, though, in any of their last 5 games in the Premier League when they've played Burnley, West Ham, Bournemouth, Sunderland and Brentford. And the next 7 fixtures that they've got look pretty tricky. City at home at the weekend, United away, Newcastle at home, Arsenal at home, Fulham away, Palace at home, Liverpool away, straight after the international break, plus the Champions League fixtures thrown into that. Are they too good to get dragged into a relegation battle?
I think they are. And I think a bigger problem for them as well, Sam, is, like Crookie said there, some of these players are turning up in the Champions League. But are you looking at Simmons and saying, look at the standard of players you're playing against in the Champions League? As well. Yeah, Moani hasn't scored in the Premier League yet. But they're 10 points off Manchester United in 4th position. If I'm the hierarchy at Spurs, I'm saying we want to get back-to-back Champions League seasons. Not going to happen this season because they're miles off.
Can you see them getting back into contention for a European place with games against City, United, Newcastle, Arsenal, Fulham and Palace and Liverpool over the next?
They could easily not win a game out of all those games. They could easily not win.
Well, he'll be gone if that does happen. You know, he's bought himself a little bit of respite, certainly with a hierarchy. Won't take long for the fans to turn again if they start to struggle against Man City this weekend. If they don't start to put wins on the board, inevitably they're going to make a change.
Solanke could be a player that helps him out. It's looked good to see Solanke back. He's given him that physical presence up front, holding the ball up, linking with players. Took his goal well during the week as well. That is not an easy finish to take your time, composure, put into the corner of the net. So keeping Solanke fit, getting him the service that he needs. But other players have got to turn up. Simmons, Muani, Odebear. You've got to do more.
Here are some of the best sledges in Ashes history. Let's start in 1933, Douglas Jardine versus Yabba. Jardine, the notorious captain of the Bodyline series. Yabba, some bloke in the stands who became so famous he now has a statue at the SCG. When Jardine was swatting away flies on the boundary one day, Yabba yelled, "Oi, Jardine, leave our flies alone. They're the only friends you've got." Next, Warne versus Strauss in the Edgbaston Cauldron 2005. Strauss shouted, "Come on, boys, he's struggling here," when Warne misjudged the delivery by Ashley Giles. Warne then told Strauss, "Say one more thing to me and I'll hit the next ball for 6. Strauss obliged and Warne walloped an enormous 6 over square leg. Night-night, Straussy. Bowler Jimmy Ormond dealt a stinger to Mark Waugh, brother of Steve, in 2001 when the Aussie all-rounder told him he was nowhere near good enough to play for his country. Ormond replied, "At least I'm the best cricketer in my family." Tough. Wicketkeeper Ian Healy issued one of the great lines after Steve Waugh told Ricky Ponting to field right under the nose of Nasser Hussain. Healy remarked, "That could be anywhere within a 3-mile radius, poor Nas." And then there's Dennis Lilly on Jeffrey Boycott, who he beautifully described as a man who fell in love with himself at a young age and has remained faithful ever since.
Well, I was sitting in the corner with my tracksuit off. I was hoping I'll be
morning. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark. Saving your next car in the real sales, the UK's biggest used car sale.
Tell me you've seen it.
No, look, you know, I was busy talking at the time, but also I'm a bit sensitive when it comes to talk of hair pieces, you know. What was that? Gerald Miller with his hairpiece punched off in his victory at the weekend. Anyway, you should never wear a hairpiece, should you, when you're involved in a sporting event?
No, I'll tell you what, you'll never wear it again. If you've not seen it, you've got to get it on, Jeff. Yeah. It's nothing short of majestic, right? I tell you right now, the other fella deserves a rematch, right? He deserves a rematch on the grounds of Gerald Miller's insanity, right? I'm telling you right now. You can see it. It reminds me of my old grand's teapot, right? It does, Jeff.
Brilliant.
It just pops up and then gets back down again, and his opponent's actually laughing at him. Oh, yeah. It's priceless.
Yeah, we look better without it than he does with it. Let's be brutally honest. No, I wouldn't say that to his face, of course. Joe, who's an Everton fan, says, morning, Jeff. Not sure if you touched on him. What about David Moyes getting a yellow for celebrating after a 97th minute equaliser? The man 60-odd, and if anything, deserves praising for it. And look, the celebration was great. I love the way people say, well, I don't love it. I hate the way people say, look, he's 60-odd, as if that means he's absolutely done, finished, you know, ready for the care home. He's still got plenty of energy, plenty of life in.
I watched it. I couldn't help but laugh. Yeah. I was howling with laughter.
Yeah.
He deserved these moments, the big fella.
Ludicrous was it that he got booked for going outside his technique.
Absolute
area.
nonsense.
Pitiful,
Crazy.
Yeah. Great weekend for Arsenal then. They moved 6 points clear at the top of the table. As for Aston Villa, well, their title challenge seemingly is over.
When you're tired of playing
Aston Villa.
Let's get in there. Newcastle 0, Villa 2. Villa's long wait for a win at St James's Park surely over now. Aston Villa, you have to say it, playing like this, they're in the title race, aren't they?
Not a lot of people are happy that Aston Villa, sleeping giant, are in the title race.
I don't know the difference is contender or favorite. We are no favorite. Favorite Arsenal to win the title.
Aston Villa, definitely the way Arsenal are stumbling and not wanting to win this Premier League. They're still in it, Villa.
For these title contenders, it's a second home defeat, having won 8 in a row. Full time here at Villa Park. Aston Villa 0, Brentford 1.
I think it's been nice for Villa fans. It's been nice for the manager, title challenge. But let's be honest, today
must end now, mustn't it?
I think it should do.
Aston Villa.
What a weekend.
It's like a Premier League hokey-cokey, isn't it, as far as Gabby's concerned? They're in it, they're out of it, they're in it, they're out of it. Oh, delighted to say that Gabby joins us now. Morning, Gabs.
Morning, Gabby.
Good morning, lads. How are we?
Yeah,
we're
good,
doing
thanks,
well,
mate.
Gabby. Don't you go throwing the towel in on me now. Come on.
Hey, Gabby, look, I've got a message for you from Courtney, who says, when Gabby comes on, make sure you tell him Villa are bottle jobs. He would be calling other teams bottle jobs for losing at home in a so-called title race. Villa will be looking to get top 5 as United, Liverpool and Chelsea will catch them. Come on, Gabby, put Courtney in her place. I assume it's a her, might be a his. I apologise if I've got the sex wrong.
No, listen, yesterday was disappointing. Everton at home, disappointing to lose those 2 games. You'd think Aston Villa would win those games, but who thought Aston Villa would go to Newcastle last weekend and win? Nobody. So it's sort of like we don't really know what's going to happen in the last games of the season. But yesterday I thought they'd done everything they could. I was at the game, pressurised Brentford's back 5 when Collins come on. Sancho had a better game when he went over to the left-hand side. Tammy Abraham was sharp. But it's one of those games, Ali and Jeff, where it could have been 90 more minutes and Villa wouldn't have scored.
Yeah. By the way, I didn't know what sex Courtney was. Courtney's just texted back in, sorry, Courtney, I really mean that, because Courtney said, I'm a 6'4" man.
Hey, Courtney, counts for nothing nowadays, mate. I've got news for you. we need a picture, we need evidence, mate, but we'll take your word for it. Gabby, I was going to say to you, mate, disappointing. 3 points dropped, but it should only have been 2, shouldn't it? That goal.
Oh, don't get me started, Ali. Honestly, Ali, I've never heard Villa Park so angry. Listen, was the ball 100% out? No one will ever know. But look how far away from Brentford's goal the ball went out. There's so much Villa have to do to score from there. Come on. Football, this isn't football.
I know. I'm with you. I thought, I must admit, I was really uncomfortable with that. I mean, how far are we going to start getting back? Do you know what I mean?
Exactly, and Ali, it didn't change anything. The ball being slightly out or slightly in, look how much has to happen for Villa to score from there. I get it if it's in the final third and Villa take a quick throw or something when it wasn't a throw or whatever, but to disallow a goal when you can't 100% tell from there was very disappointing. But Aston Villa had many chances and just didn't have that cutting edge yesterday.
Yeah. Seriously, as far as, Courtney posed the question, Gabby, are you worried now about being hunted down by the sides behind you?
Of course, because Manchester United are in form. They've got a settled squad now. Margaret Carrick's doing very good. Liverpool are looking strong now as well. Chelsea, their result against West Ham. Of course I'm worried, but I'd rather have the points in the bag already and teams chasing you than you have to do the chasing. And let's be honest, guys, even if Aston Villa don't finish in the top 5, go on to win the Europa League, it's still a fantastic season. The injuries they've got, no one talks about them. No Kamara, no McGinn, no Tielemans, no Watkins yesterday. So the pressure's on, but I'm sure this manager will get the players playing. I mean, Bournemouth away is going to be a tough game next, then Brighton at home.
Yeah.
But Villa beat Bournemouth away last season, so they could get 6 out of 6 next 2 games.
Gabby, what about, I thought it was a brilliant finish. Jeff and I were talking there, and I thought Katara took the goal really well, stuck it right in the top corner, which I'm sure you'll agree. How did Thiago do? How did the centre forward do, mate?
Oh, Ali, he's an absolute menace.
I
felt sorry for the Villa defence at one stage. He doesn't stop running. He's throwing his body into Konsa. He was a pest up there, done very, very well. And also, the main player I want to give a congratulations to was Rico Henry at left back.
Yeah.
He had a very good first half. He was touch tight to Sancho every time. And I think Brentford defended with their lives on the line. They were very good defensively. And I thought Katara and Thiago were very good. But the red card from Sharda, disgusting, Ali. I think Matty Cass might need stitches.
Well, that piece of the pitch is certainly flat now because he rolled it so well. Quick word on
disgusting, Jeff. Yeah. It was like Vinnie Jones back in the day. That was.
Yeah. Tammy Abraham debut. What did you make of him, Gabs?
Very, very good, Jeff. I was watching him closely at the game. I was there, and he was hold-up play. Brentford were very clever. They were pressing high, so Villa couldn't play from the back. But Martinez just kept on clipping it into Abraham's chest. He was holding it up and starting attacks that way. Had an early chance in the first half where it was through 1v1. Should have scored, wasn't clinical.
Yeah.
Then obviously his goal disallowed. But he's going to be a big part of Aston Villa's season. And I'm sure the rotation between himself and Watkins will work well as well. But very good debut from him. Also from Douglas Luiz. Looked like he'd never left. So it's a disappointing result, but I'm sure now, Bournemouth away, the manager will say it's a must-win.
Gabby, get some rest. You've got that early morning alarm call tomorrow.
Can I just say, guys, as well, I've been to 3 Villa games this season.
And you've lost them all. I give it 1 draw.
The 1 draw, 2 losses, 0 goals. I'm not going back for you talkSPORT ever again.
Yeah, and Villa are thinking exactly the same thing. You're not coming back,
mate. My accreditation's gone for the rest of the season.
Thanks, Gabby.
Take care, pal. See you soon.
See you later.
Plenty more from Gabby tomorrow morning from 6 alongside Ali. Coming up next, it's time to ask Ali whether he is ready to say Madaweke should start over Saka for Arsenal.
Holy moly, guacamole. I mean, that's remarkable.
Did you hear Ray's version this morning? Ed, have we got Ray's version of Singing Passenger? Take this
Arsenal have gone through an entire league campaign without losing. Played 38, won 26, lost exactly none.
Well, you only need the goals when they're running low. Only miss the net when the pressure grows. There's only one star boy by KO.
Saka off the bench to score. They are loving life at the Emirates.
Only know you've been high when you're feeling low. Please, Pep, leave us alone. Come on, Arteta, you've got to bring it home.
Jump on that boat because this is the way that we're going to live the next 4 months.
Please don't let it go.
Wonderful.
Isn't that really beautiful?
I need to jump on the boat as well.
Yeah. Tickets for the unlikely pilgrimage of Harold Fry available on www.haroldfrymusical.com. You'll absolutely love this. Passengers album One for the Road will be available on all streaming platforms alongside the official video release for the album's second single, Walk Upon the Water, featuring Kingdom Choir on YouTube, and www.haroldfrymusical.com. Like we say, you've got a stunning voice, and Ray's might just be that little bit better. Don't be...
No, look, it is.
Don't be threatened.
Let's not beat around the bush.
But Arsenal fans in for a treat this morning.
I'd done that at 10 to 6, and I was a little bit too early.
He hadn't had his Manuka.
The practice all night.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you want to do a little...
Look, I can try a red...
Good morning. This is talkSPORT Breakfast, 10 to 10. I'm Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist is with me. Right, let's get the very latest from Deadline Day with talkSPORT's Ben Jacobs. Ben, morning.
Morning, Ben.
Are clubs going to leave this again till 2 minutes to 7, or are they doing business now?
I think the fact it's an earlier deadline compared to traditional windows, which of course was in the evening, means plenty of the business actually got done last night, but a few may go down to the wire. One deal I can tell you that is off, though, is Ricardo Pepi to Fulham. There was an agreement in principle for about £32 million, but PSV had to find a replacement. They couldn't. So Fulham are going to have to revisit that one in the summer. Che Adams is still a story to watch for Wolves. A fee needs to be agreed with Torino in the region of £6 million, but it's not done yet. So that might be one to watch throughout the course of the day. A reminder, Jeremy Jacquet, 55 million and 5 million in add-ons, 5-year contract and a 1-year option. He is off to Liverpool. And Axel Disasi and West Ham, that one is advancing. My understanding is if it gets done, it is likely to be a loan deal from Chelsea to the Hammers, even though Chelsea wanted a permanent sale when talks first started.
Ben, thanks very much indeed. Have a great day.
Ben. Thanks, guys.
And don't forget to stay tuned to talkSPORT throughout the day for all the information as it happens this deadline day. Quick text from Freddie, who says, morning again. He's a Villa fan. Is it any surprise we're worried about top four? It's the same as last season. Last game against United, goal disallowed, which wasn't in the keeper's hands, but for some reason the whistle blew. How much debt are United in? But they can spend 250 million when Villa can't spend a penny. It's unbelievable that we got ourselves to the position we're in. And Chris, by the way, I just want to say thank you for your text. It's very funny indeed, but if I read it out, the transfer window would be closed. It's that long. Right, let's finish with a bit of this.
Ask me. Here's Ally McCoist. Oh, he's done it. Ally McCoist from Rangers.
Are you winding me up? No, I'm deadly serious. You know where the creator of the Rubik's Cube came from? Came from Czechoslovakia. So there you are, have some of that.
You need to introduce me to this Tinder. Is it dangerous?
You're a pair of numpties, so you are.
Let's be having you! Let's be having you!
Oh, gee, was I?
You were only supposed to blow up a bloody door.
What's that?
Yeah, I've nailed it, man. I've nailed it.
As we wrap up Monday morning with a run of Ali Other Business, let's get going. Spurs, is this a turning point for them under Thomas Frank? If it is,
well, you hope so. But,
yeah.
I mean, history would tell you you couldn't be very confident, could you? Let's be quite honest about it. The league
that wasn't the question, Coisty.
Well,
you jumped in early. That wasn't the question.
Well, I thought the question was going to be, is this the turning point? It's clearly not. Carry on, because my answer to that one is, I don't know. Give me the question now.
Well, if it is a turning point, it might be because Dominic Solanke's back fit and scoring. He's so good that Thomas Frank compared him to Erling Haaland.
I just think what he's given to us, and he's, by the way, 70-80% of his level. What he's given the last 4 games is 4 goals and presence and personality. Just see how big it is. Look if City played without Haaland for 6 months. So Dom is just so important for us, and he showed that again today.
So Solanke is as important as Haaland. What do you think?
Yeah, it's not as daft as it sounds. To Spurs, yes. It's not as daft as it sounds, that. Because the other options aren't as strong. If you play the Charlton through the middle, or if you play through the middle, Solanke is vital for them, I think, to function as a team, as an out-and-out number 9. So I hear what he's saying. I think we need to just hold back a bit. I don't think he's making a comparison as a player to Haaland. I think he's making a comparison as an importance to the team.
Yeah.
And I think that's understandable. And I think we've seen recently, I mean, he gets his break with a goal against Dortmund, and obviously, and he's on a goal-scoring run, scores away from home. He's one of these strikers, Jeff. I am willing him to do well. I want him to do well. He's had a tough time with injury. I don't think there's any doubt Tottenham look more effective and dangerous when he's in the side. And I think his goals would obviously get Tottenham up the league. And I definitely think there will be a corner turned. They'll start to get 1 or 2 of the top players back. I mean, they got that result yesterday again. It was a good result. I mean, the best I've seen them. I saw him play at the start of the season against PSG. I thought he did very, very well. And then I saw him win at the Etihad when they were absolutely excellent.
They were excellent, yeah.
Excellent to be in that performance. They haven't kept anything like that level of performance. But there will be an improvement. And I would say to you right now, I will stick my neck out and say I think they will turn the corner, and that is the start of the corner being turned.
Thank you for that, Coisty. Another weekend, inevitably more refereeing controversy. We spoke to the former Premier League ref Chris Foy earlier in the show. Didn't exactly end well. Take a listen.
Yes, I am lying down while I'm speaking to you. You've got to trust me. You've got to trust me on this one, fellas.
Chris, you're an ex-referee. Why would we trust you?
Jeff, I've been to Out of the Pool on a Tuesday night, and you trusted me.
All right, mate. We didn't trust him. Do you think he's ever going to come on the show again, Coisty?
No, I think he's on that flight with Troy Deeney. I think he's met Troy at the airport. He's heading for the sun. Listen, who would be a referee? I mean, you've got to see. You told me the reaction to his comments. I mean, it's impossible. And
who would be a referee? Have you seen how much they get paid these days?
No, I know that, Jeff, but I take all that into account. But come on, it doesn't matter what they do; they're getting lambasted. But the thing that's meant to be coming in and help them is not helping them. I thought, and I did. I thought VAR would help them, and it's not.
No, it hasn't. It hasn't. It's undermined them. That's the truth of it, isn't it? So, just a quick text from Majestic. He says he's on his way home from the airport after an incredible show at Madison Square Garden. He says, say hello to his driver, Kasim. So, morning, Kasim. Morning, Madge. Hope you're well, mate. Final question, Coisty. Yes. Arsenal romped to a 4-0 win away at Leeds on Saturday. Noni Madaweke stole the show with a man-of-the-match performance after he took Bukayo Saka's place after he was injured in the warm-up. Should Madaweke start over Saka for England?
Matt, yes.
Oh, what?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right now, if it was a game tomorrow, if England were playing a quarter-final or semi-final or any tournament, I'm starting Madaweke. And I need to balance it by telling you the wee fella hasn't done an awful lot wrong. And I think he's tremendous. I love Saka. But I just think at this moment in time, Madaweke has got a greater chance of winning you a game than anybody else maybe in the team at this moment in time. The other side, they've got a problem because, what are the other options? You've got some great talent there, whether it's Gordon, Grealish, Saka, Madaweke, Rashford. I'll fling another one in. I'll tell you who I would be taking, but I'm not sure he'll go. I would take Jared Bowen, right?
I would too.
I would definitely take Jared Bowen. But starting on the right-hand side now, do you know something? It's a great argument and it's a great discussion, and because there's no real right or wrong.
No.
Because you're talking really talented, gifted players. And as I say, Saka has done nothing wrong, really, to get himself out the team. But I'm of the opinion probably right now that Madaweke has done more to get himself in the team.
I would stick with Saka because he has been fantastic for England for a long period. I have no reason to think he would let us down, that's for sure. Ali, Gabby's with you tomorrow morning.
Yes, mate, looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm heading for Southend tomorrow night, Evesham on Wednesday, and Solihull on Thursday. So come and join us if you
fantastic.
If you possibly can. Look, if I was a referee, I'd be earning more money, believe you me.
You'd be getting slightly more stick though, mate.
Well, you haven't seen some of the stick I get in here.
Well, that's true. Yeah. That is very true.
I'll see you next week.
Look forward to it, mate.
Thanks,
Hope
Coisty.
tonight goes well.
Gabby and Coisty back tomorrow morning from 6. You won't want to miss that. Jim, Simon and Martin Keown are next.
Deadline day.